Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Friday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, live on Edmonton Sports Talk. If your choice for Edmonton Sports, we're on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio. Thanks to those watching on YouTube and everyone that listens to the podcast. It's Matt Iwanyk, it's Jay Milne, it's Dash in the Park with you here on the Hangout today. To your question, as we're about to come on the air, Jay, I'll probably get to Century. You and Reed are live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge today from 3 until 5, so I'll probably be there for 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Usually late for Green and Gold show. I'm usually like to be there about an hour beforehand, so I want to set up. I think we got the table reserved for 2. And then there's the Green and Gold kickoff show that will take place at 5 o'clock. You should come down to Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, as it is the EST watch party as the Elks take on the Bombers in a critical game, something we will be discussing very momentarily here on the Hangout. That answer your question?
Yeah. Well, I do have to leave. I have a meeting.
Allegedly.
I know it is a bona fide meeting.
You feel very sad about this.
I feel guilty. It was rescheduled. It's an EST meeting. Okay, so let's clear the air on that. So it's an EST meeting, and it was rescheduled twice. And
then you definitely have to go.
Not by me.
It doesn't matter. You still have to go.
Yeah, I know. So this, I got to bounce out at 9:45. I'm a little devastated, to be honest.
Well, because you didn't tell me until...
That's what I heard about. That's
show.
What it hurts, because I've heard you talking behind other people's backs that work here about doing stuff like this. So I just don't want to be on your hit list.
I do it behind people's backs?
No, that was a joke.
I do it to people's faces.
You do.
I show my disapproval right to you.
Yes, you do.
I'm not one of those people.
No, it was a joke. And, we're just happy that our coup is back.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
Say this.
This place was absolutely no fun without you. Zero.
I don't buy that.
Zero fun was that.
When I asked you how was the week, it all went really... You were here for that.
Maddie brings the fun. That's what I've heard.
No, you heard the part where the week went well. Good things were happening.
Very good things were happening.
No technical issues from what I gather.
I heard the whole station improved, like at least 7 to 10% over the last 4 days.
That's what I'm thinking. Which I feel like we should test this again, and I should just go away for like 2 weeks.
It is something to be said. When I used to have our furniture store, and we'd go, I'd go away for like a ski trip. I didn't get away often.
No, you have that.
The one trip. We have a ski trip. We go to Golden, and you want to know how the store's doing, and it was always doing not better than maybe, but it was doing good, and it was like. And then you'd have a day that would pop off, like a big day.
Record sales when you're gone.
Yeah, and be like, maybe I'm the problem.
Well, you could just always stay in Golden.
Well, then it would say, maybe I should take more vacations. So maybe, Matt...
Well, I do have a bit more time in October.
I saw that. I saw that on your schedule you emailed out.
Thank you.
I read through it intently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've called you out and many others for not reading those emails.
Yes. I was hoping to find an offer for lunch at the bottom somewhere.
No. I mentioned that... I'm not going to do that right away.
I know, but I know you're going to at some point, because I know your brain and how it works.
Yeah, but
you will drop it in at some point, and I want to be the guy to get it.
But it's not going to be something I'm going to do in like the first 3-4 months.
I know. Just getting myself in the right head frame of mind.
You do this. I'll drop
I'm
something.
Stuck in between Statler and Waldorf here.
It's like an old married couple.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We get you. We're used to it. We've got to do it again today.
Yep.
Not many more green and golds.
I know.
4. Hopefully 5, 6, or 7 too.
Yeah, hopefully, and then
we can knock on wood that'll happen.
Hopefully, we're at
knock on wood for something to happen.
Yeah, 3 times with your left hand. It's good luck. That's 4.
That was like.
Well, I didn't know where I hit the stud, so I had to
just knock on dash.
Yes, I got a forehead right here.
I guess that's not a but-bump either.
Yeah, it sure is.
Well, that's not a but-bump.
It's a joke.
Yes, but it was like...
I mean, it was more of a statement, because he is a stud.
Is it but-ump or but-a-bump-bump? I feel like you mixed in the A&W theme song with it.
Dash, I feel like I've seen this outfit once before.
I have not taken it off in 10 days. This is straight from the Estes.
You look really good at the Estes.
But I don't look good now?
No, I mean...
smell thing?
I'll say that jeans won't go well. Jasmine's not a big fan of jeans, even though she's in the nasty chat saying everyone's dressing much better, just saying. So what was going on with about the dress yesterday or this week?
Okay, so Tommy always sits in this chair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
it's the only direct shot from the camera.
Yeah,
we'll
so
say that
his
there's
shorts,
nothing obstructing it.
Let's just say his shorts were... Tommy likes to wear nice size shorts, which when he sits down, maybe be a little tight around the legs. But there was some, ball popping happening.
HW.
Yeah, HR Daddy might have to get involved.
Well, I was going to say, is this a complaint? Is there going to be some complaints?
Well, Jasmine, she might have to talk to the leadership team, who can then take that to the HR Daddy. Okay. I believe that's the process.
I have the handbooks.
Yes,
I see them, so I'll have to go through the handbooks processes.
Maybe bring the handbook tonight for Jasmine,
just in case.
Just so if she was harmed by those actions,
what about our listeners? What if they're harmed?
I'm
sorry.
They're
nasty. They're nasty.
I think Tommy's ego was harmed.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe not his ego.
I doubt it.
But there was a lot of talk about it.
You can damage Tommy's ego?
No, he's pretty
rock solid.
He's pretty headstrong.
I think there's ways.
Really?
Go after the hair.
He's got beautiful hair, though.
Exactly. So maybe he'll just know you're lying.
Oh, yeah.
But if you try to say something about the hair, maybe that will damage him, or he'll just be like, of course it looks good. I know you're lying. And then you'd have to be like, yeah, I am lying because your hair always looks good. The Penner's Pancakes asking, why would I come back for a Friday Elks game today? I'm not missing a green and gold kickoff show.
No.
I'm not missing a post-game show.
No.
And it's not even the watch party thing. I'm just not missing a chance to spend 5 wonderful hours with my friend Jay at Century Casino.
Told you.
And spend some time with the ponies. And
what about on the hangout with Dash?
Yeah, there you go.
This is the added. This is like
you're the added bonus.
This is the added bonus.
Okay. I'm the icing.
But the reason I didn't book the Friday off, like if the Elks played on tomorrow, I would have had today off too.
Yes, you would have.
I'm not taking the Elks game off.
Biggest game of the year.
I'm not going to book a day off, but then still work. So that's why I'm back here today. So unfortunately, you're stuck with me today. But we get a lot to talk about. There's a lot to discuss. Do you guys just want to get into the Elks?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Hangout headlines brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time, theranchgolf.com. Fall golf is one of my favorite golfs. I wish I could had some time to actually go golfing. I maybe should have done that this week. Had a few days off and didn't go golfing. But the Ranch is a great spot to go golfing. The Edmonton Elks take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Jay, you threw this out last week, but it's I think now more so this week. Must-win territory for these Edmonton Elks. MBT getting the start for your Edmonton Elks. How has the city reacted to that news? Because I have not paid attention.
Yeah, it's been a polarizing topic.
Yeah,
a lot of Trey Ford defenders, and I don't think that's.
I just quickly when we did the post-game show, we asked who should start, and it was about I think 65-35 Trey should start. MBT after the post-game show.
Yeah, so
after the post-game show.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is that I also thought Trey Ford should get the ball. But I'm thinking of it from a perspective of is Trey Ford the guy? Is he the guy that's going to be able to take the ball
for this year
and possibly next year? But you need to know that now. If you have a guy that's got the the cojones to take the ball after under delivering last week. It was not his best game. He played very bad.
You're talking about Trey starting still.
Trey starting. Yeah. And saying, can he deliver? Give him a shot to do that, to prove the detractors wrong and say, no, I do have the ability to win the big game. They're obviously, the coaching staff, the organization is probably looking at this and saying, look, this is the only possible game we need to win to get a chance at the playoffs. So in their mind, it was best to go with MBT. So the only problem I have is now what do you do? What do you do if MBT? Okay, there's either way, it's going to be an awkward conversation. What if McLeod Bethel Thompson comes out and starts winning games for this team and leads you to playoffs? Maybe, you know what I mean? Then you're stuck. You have to re-sign him for next year, and then you delay Trey Ford again, right? Or what if MBT comes out and lays an egg, and just is 2 interceptions in the first half, and then you're back to square one. Like Dustin said on the morning show, are you going to pull MBT out and then snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap?
Nice Office reference.
Thank you.
I don't want to get too much into personally what happens if MBT plays poor.
What ifs?
Because we'll do that in the post game.
Okay.
I'm kind of going. I feel like we're role reverse right now. Going into this season, I was doing the what if this goes wrong, and you're like, well, let's stay positive. And I'm kind of.
No, you have to think about it. Right?
No, absolutely. But the only thing I'll say is, I think if MBT plays poor today and the Elks lose, I think you just go with Trey for the final 3
because it's meaningless anyways.
Not necessarily. We'll see. Like if Saskatchewan loses to Ottawa this weekend,
there's still a glimmer of hope.
You go beat Saskatchewan, you're a point back. You need to make up one more game and you still make the
5 points back with 3 games to go.
If Saskatchewan wins,
right,
then it's kind of meaningless. Then you could kind of sit there and go, okay, evaluate Trey because maybe he isn't the guy for next year. And that to me is something that is very possible. I've said it all year. The reason I wanted Trey to start was because I wanted to know throughout this season, is he your guy ever? And to know that he has to play. So that's what I would say. If MBT doesn't play well and they lose, then to me it's you just go with Trey and you let Trey take this over. The leash part is the bigger one for me. How much does MBT get? I think he deserves 3/4 minimum. It would have to be Trey level last week bad for me to say MBT needs to be pulled at half.
Dash. Starting Trey Ford in the first 10 games of the year. You're probably right, Matty. It becomes important as to whether this is your guy next year. I don't think that goes into your decision making for who the starter is going to be tonight on
clearly
who your quarterback is going to be next year.
Yeah.
I mean, Trey Ford might be your quarterback next year. I don't think we know that yet, but you don't start him today in a must-win game that you need to make the playoffs.
You do if you think he is the guy future of this team.
So you're willing to sacrifice this year's playoffs just to give him the experience to make sure.
Well, no, but if you believed in him, it wouldn't be a sac. You're not sacrificing.
If they believed in him, you wouldn't be starting MBT.
It's also the same as
that's kind of the thing. Yeah,
I'll start to get to that part after. It's kind of like to me when. The year the Oilers still had Koskinen and Smith, but a lot of people like myself wanted Skinner to play down that stretch is because, I'm willing to give up a little bit on this season. If this season doesn't go perfectly well, I'm okay with that because I'm seeing the long term with Stuart Skinner. Mm-hmm. And the Oilers didn't do that. And we still, then they had to go sign Jack Campbell. And we saw how that worked out, and now Stuart Skinner is the guy. That's what I'm seeing here. If you go with Trey Ford, you believe in this guy could still win. But he might lose and it might not go well, and you've hurt your season this year. But the bigger picture is getting a little more clear. Now, as to MBT, the Elks were in a unique spot where I don't believe a quarterback should lose, or a player doesn't lose his job to injury. So Trey got injured, so he was coming back. He got his job back.
Yeah.
But MBT was also playing really well for that stretch of time. He wasn't playing well at the start of the season.
Yeah.
But from when Trey went down to last Winnipeg game, MBT played really well. He was a hot quarterback. That it gave, I think, Jarius Jackson the ability to be like, hey, Trey, you got your job back because of injury. You didn't produce. We have this other quarterback who has been hot, who won 3 of 4 games, I think it was. We got to go give him a shot.
Yeah.
We got to give it back to him. Because the guy was playing hot, he was red hot, and we took the ball out of his hand. We now owe it to him and this team to give it back to him to see if he could keep that red hot streak going. And I think that's why this happened. And look, I'll say this: anyone that listened to the postgame show on Saturday, I specifically said I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset. I couldn't criticize Jarius Jackson for going this way, so I won't. I get it. It's Jarius Jackson's an interim head coach still. He doesn't have to care about next year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If he was to care about next year, if G-Roy was to care about next year, that's on the organization, and then they shouldn't have done this, but they needed to give them extensions and give them the jobs. But they don't have those. So the only thing they could worry about
win now
is the here and now. And at that moment, I understand why Jarius Jackson would say the here and now for today. MBT gives them a better chance of winning than Trey.
Well, and can you blame Jarius
or
G-Roy?
Not based on last
game.
No,
but can you blame them for wanting
turnovers?
To look to try and better their chances of regaining this job next year? Can you blame them for being almost like we have to win now to protect our jobs?
No.
I don't.
No.
If you were in that position, you would fight for everything you could do.
You're building a resume.
Yes, right. 100%.
You're building a resume.
So you cannot say, they shouldn't do that, because if you were in the same position and your ass was on the line, you would fight tooth and nail for it. And he's fighting for it. G-Roy's fighting for it. They both feel that MBT gives them the best shot to win tonight. And okay, let's look at this matchup. They contained Trey Ford. They did not let him get out of the pocket and make those, crazy plays with his legs and whatnot. But there was a pocket.
Terrible decisions.
There was a pocket. They're only rushing 3 defensive linemen. Mm-hmm. This is not, MBT can sit in there and sling the ball. Maybe not the best deep ball thrower, but he can put it on people mid-range routes with a pocket that's only being rushed by 3 players. So
in a game where they really need to protect the ball and not turn it over.
Yeah. So the more and more you think about it, the more likely, or the more and more it makes sense to have a pocket passer in tonight's game.
But to what Derek Taylor said to you guys going into last week's game, voice of the Bombers have spent a lot of season, and I guess then we would have saw last week, playing a lot of defenders back, playing 7 defenders back, 8 defenders into the secondary. Is MBT going to have holes to throw to if they're playing that many guys back? He's not a guy then that could run.
Keep smashing him with that running game.
Well, and that's
Rankin's
the thing. That's a great.
He's starting for the first time.
That's a great point, Dash, because that running game is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And they get people on train tracks. And it's interesting. Justin Rankin, what a story. What a story of, kind of coming out of nowhere.
He's fun to watch, man.
I got news for Double E fans. Kevin Brown is not going to be back next year.
Yeah.
Because Justin Rankin is coming in at half the price, if not more, and you still got Javon Leake as that 2-headed backfield.
He's unique the way he hits the holes. Like I just find
that's nothing against Kevin Brown, obviously. This is a business decision, and Justin Rankin has proved that he can carry the mail.
Yeah.
So it's a good problem to have from an organizational standpoint. Kevin Brown will find another place and land on his feet for sure. Right. There's plenty of teams that can take on a stud running back that can take the ball and his career he's been relatively able to stay healthy. So, but yeah, that Justin Rankin, wow. So if they can do that, but they've got to, and they did run the ball very well last week. Yeah. It was that they ran it very well.
Issue. Yeah.
The Elks just lost more last week than the Bombers won. We said that on the
100%.
Oh,
that game was tied 10-10 at the start of the fourth quarter. It was available
to lose.
We're
and they
at
did
the 5th, their own 50 with 10 to go at a tie ball game. They
that
could have won
played
that game.
That call play where they leaked Zott out as a tight end, and Trey did not read it properly, threw it right into the linebacker's hands. That deflated the team. That was what you'd call the TSN turning point. Yeah, because they did not recover from that. So,
look, you guys aren't going to talk about the what ifs until the post game show, but I won't be there, so I kind of want to touch on it a little bit, if that's okay.
Well, no, you guys like which what if? Like, what if MBT doesn't play well and this team loses?
Yeah, and you talked about the goalie analogy, and honestly, before you brought it up, that's what popped into my head, because I've always had that. Okay, let's harken back to the playoffs, not this past season, but the one before, where versus Vegas, they had said maybe Campbell should have started game 5, and okay, well, what if they start Campbell in game 5 and he doesn't play well? Okay, well, now you've taken your starter in Skinner, told him you don't trust him in the biggest game of the year. You've started your backup doesn't play well, and now you've got 2 goaltenders with potentially damaged confidence or what have you. I kind of liken that to tonight, really, honestly. Like, if MBT doesn't do well, now you got to go back to Trey at some point in time in the game, and you just told him that he's not your best chance to win. Now,
well,
I'm not sure
but
Trey
they've done
has
that all year.
mentality. I think he just goes out and does his job and tries to beat his brother.
But they've done that twice to MBT this year. When they first benched him for Trey, and then ultimately when they benched him for Trey last week.
After he'd gone 3-1.
Going hot. And they've done it to Trey this year multiple times by not using him to start the year. This goes back to Chris Jones, not giving him a chance to be the starter this year. I'll just say, not even giving him a chance, going into camp knowing MBT was the starter, not saying open competition.
Yeah.
He got the shot there. And then this week. There's your 2 opportunities. Actually, I could go a third. When Jarius Jackson first took over as interim, they threw him out there for 2 plays in Ottawa, and then didn't even use him at all when they were going to mix him in a little bit more. And so I guess these quarterbacks are used to it, because that's what this coaching staff's already done all year.
I mean,
they've taken those shots at both of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That maybe we'll look back on this and go, this is they've mishandled how they're going about this. Maybe this all goes back to just in the fact that this season should have started with MBT as the starting quarterback, but using Trey Ford more. Something we all could have lived with.
Yeah.
And having the 2 quarterback system going, not in you get one game, you get this other game, but MBT gets 70% of this game and Trey gets 30 because you're mixing things up. You're mixing in packages in or whatever that was. Maybe that's the ultimate issue of this season was the fact that, like, everyone could have been happy then at that point. The Trey supporters and my side of things, and then the MBT supporters and their sides. We could all have been happy. And maybe that would have actually worked better for this team where, you could have had today where, okay, well, Trey started last week, but MBT came in a little bit, and now this week it's, well, MBT is going to start. We're going back to that, but Trey's still going to be mixed in. Like, does anyone think Trey's going to play at all today, barring a disaster?
No.
For the Double E, I hope Trey doesn't play today. Because that means MBT's getting the job done.
But that's like, why couldn't it be packages though, right?
Matt, everybody would have been happy with that. If say you give MBT 35 plays, you give Trey 15 plays,
why do you go
give
less
Trey a series? Give him a series, and then 1 series a quarter.
Yeah.
Right. But that's my point. Like maybe that's
sprinkle it in
issue
and keep
of
that
this
defense
season.
on their toes.
Like if we go look sprinkles, if we go back and look at the overall what caused issues with this team, it was that they didn't find a way to do that.
Well, and they didn't find their running game till halfway through the season. No, sorry. They neglected the running game until about halfway through the season. That is a big issue. And look at now what that running game is doing. They were sitting on that for 7 games.
Yeah.
The most they rushed in that 0-7 start was 14 times. Now they're averaging plus over 20.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. It was just
wow.
That's my I told you so for the season because I was begging for it every game.
He was.
Jones so stubborn.
He is.
I'm really intrigued to know what changed it all. Like going behind the scenes, like what? Because
he was the puppet master controlling the D coordinator and
but it
Jarius
was even
Jackson.
a couple weeks of Jarius as the intern before they started really running it again, and then Trey came in and then they started running it there. But it's had success under MBT. So like, what was the thing that changed their calling to make it work? Or why did Jarius Olsen change? I'd love to know the full story of that. It's too bad the CFL doesn't have like those deep insiders that write those stories. The Brian Windhursts of the world or something that dive in after the season and go through all of that. But look, the Elks could still make this playoffs here. Even with a loss, it's still there. We said that a sweep would not go well. They needed a split. But it's there. They need a lot of help. But it's still there. The teams that play down the stretch aren't the toughest. They need to go win that Saskatchewan game for sure. You need Saskatchewan to lose a couple games. And
they need every away game or every visiting team this weekend to win, including themselves, because Ottawa comes to Saskatchewan. Montreal goes to Toronto.
Montreal goes to Toronto.
And then Hamilton goes to BC. If all the visiting teams won, that would be very favorable to Edmonton.
I got to look at all the depth charts. I've got big decisions to make because
it's the final.
It's the final of the Dunya.
Yeah. The Dunya.
And
what are you?
I've been a strong team
for
for the second half of this season. I've actually been a good team, but I have some big question marks. Chad Kelly's my quarterback. Winnipeg's my D. Sergio Castillo's my kicker. Those are locked in. I got Brady Oliveira. But I don't know whether to play him in my Canadian or running back spot. I've been playing in my Canadian for a long time.
Why don't you go Rankin? Do you don't have Rankin?
I have Rankin.
Okay, that's easy.
I picked up Rankin this week because
the
I was
debacle.
also like, I'm loaded. I picked up anyone I could.
That was the McCord debacle.
A bunch of people. Yeah. He could have had him last week. But I'm a little worried that Rankin's not going to have as strong of a performance as last week. And then the Winnipeg D is going to prepare for him. I've also got Kadeem Carey, but I got to see if he's playing because he got banged up last week, who's been really strong all season. I've got Justin McInnes, who I could play as a receiver or in my Canadian spot. And then my receivers, I have to decide between Eugene Lewis, Kenny Lawler, Justin McInnes is in there, Dominic Rhymes, Tim White, and Shamir Bridges.
Well, you're starting Lewis.
He's been really good the last few weeks. That Lewis is a check. Easy check.
I would start McInnes at your Canadian and Olivier at your running back. Then it opens up for another couple spots.
Only thing, I'm not strong. I'm not feeling good about the receiver.
How's your depth? And exactly.
Like Tim White he's had a couple good games, but he hasn't been strong. Shamir Bridges started off really well. Down the last few games, he's been all right. Justin McInnis has only been all right the last few weeks. So I don't know. I've got some really big decisions to make when it comes to my CFL fantasy because I've added a lot of depth. Hey, Greg Bell, is he going to start? He was banged up for Hamilton last week. Greg Bell, since he's taken over for James Butler, has been like one of the top running backs too.
No. What's he banged up with?
So I got to look all that up. I can't remember.
Can I tell you, I've heard this comment twice now, maybe even more.
JML, Dash and Milne and Matt Iwanyk with you here on the EST Hangout.
Is that they run the ball less with MBT. And MBT is an offense that is pass first.
It was to start the year.
I think it was to start, but that has definitely changed. And it works now. Because guess what happens when you run the ball effectively? It opens up the pass game. It's like football 101.
Play action is a thing.
So, yes, they may have been trying to be more pass heavy with MBT, but that wasn't getting the job done.
Right.
Which is that's a flawed offense to begin with. In the CFL, you need to have, as much of a passer's league as it is, you need to have a bona fide running attack to keep defenses honest.
I've never seen a football team that could pass efficiently and effectively.
Think of who wins Grey Cups. What kind of team wins a Grey Cup?
Well, defense. I'll start there.
Sure, but they always have a staple running back. They do.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yep. Let me ask you this.
You need a balanced offense.
Yes.
And like, I don't know what the percent it would be. Back in the day with the football down south, it'd be 50-50.
Sure.
It's not that anymore. In the CFL, because of the 3 downs, it can't be 50-50. But like 65-35 run to pass to run, I should say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. 70-30, 60-40.
You can't be an 80% pass team because the defense, Jay, like if you knew there was just going to be passes, how much easier is that for defense?
Well, it's way easier for your D-line to start because they can just tee off and get upfield and not have to worry about gap control and whatnot. Defensive backs, it's a lot more footloose and fancy-free. You're just looking back there, licking your chops.
Right.
So yeah, you need to have that keep your defense on their toes coming forward so that you can take shots behind them, especially the linebackers. Yeah.
I will just looking quickly at depth charts. Greg Bell and Hamilton, Kadeem Carey listed as starting running backs. I have Justin Rankin. I got Brady. I've got decisions to make.
Yeah.
I'm going 2 running backs. I don't think I can move McInnis into my Canadian spot this week. I think I have to decide on a running back. Big decisions.
I agree. It's going to be a big week for you.
Well, and Trey, that Lucas, the San Antonio Texans, had Trey Ford. So from a fantasy perspective, the fact that Trey's not playing is huge because all he has left.
You were playing Lucas in this matchup.
I was going to be playing Lucas, so I don't have to go up against Trey in a Canadian spot.
So you would have had Winnipeg's defense, and he would have had Trey Ford. Crazy.
Which
Let me ask you guys
last
this: if MBT is the best chance to win this game, and let's say we win it, maybe the answer is the fashion and how it is won. But does that automatically make MBT your best chance to win against the Riders?
Yes,
it does. Even though Trey Ford beat the Riders?
Can't do it.
You just can't go back and forth. It doesn't matter. No.
Can't do it.
Giving them that.
They already did it.
We talked. This is what they've done all year.
Well, they did it because I think they felt pressured to. Now I think they're saying, okay, screw this. This is our team. This is our chance. This is J-Jack and G. Roy Simon talking here saying we need to try and win. No team that's ever started 0-7 has made the playoffs.
So what if it's 17-14, MBT turns the ball over 4 times?
But the Elks win?
Yeah, we squeak one out 17-14. And
if the D comes out, and like a couple pick sixes and they win because of that, then there's a big decisions that have to be made.
But it'll take that, you think, hey?
It's going to have to take a poor performance, like one that we're sitting there going MBT.
I think if they win and MBT plays the whole game, it doesn't matter. He's your guy.
Okay.
You cannot have another...
Well, but in his scenario,
I don't know if I agree, but
his scenario, I kind of sit there and go, but MBT's not, I don't have trust in MBT anymore either. And I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like that's when I'd sit here right now, I'll say as of this moment, I'd be like, I don't know.
If he throws 2 pick sixes tonight, are you going to be at Century Casino?
I am.
Okay, I'm going to come and fight you.
if MBT throws a couple of pick sixes?
Yeah.
But can we have a scenario?
Savage, can you please come? I need a bodyguard.
If MBT throws 2 pick sixes, but the Elks still win, that's great for me because I have the Bombers defense.
Oh, right. Yeah,
that would be wonderful. I would love that. As long as Brady also could run for like 100 yards. Not a touchdown, but run for like 100
asked
yards.
Maddie for protection, Jay, but I'm not sure it'll get me.
I'll be too busy with the ponies.
Yeah. Peter in the nasty chat, I've been following his comments here, and it's funny because he said, this is what I'm talking about. Before tuning into EST 6 months ago, I had no interest in CFL. Now I'm slowly getting into the CFL. I think that's something that is good. And it's thank you for saying that, because it's important for EST and the people that are associated with EST to make sure that we're covering all sports related to Edmonton. I mean, you tune into our shows, we're having a guy on from the Bears, Coach Howie Draper from the Pandas hockey, Elks discussion. We cover it all. Riverhawks, Nate Ooks, and
local sports,
everything that we can to keep it, because if you hear more about it, you're more inclined to be asking for it and wanting to hear more about it.
Well, and also from Edmonton, the fact that the Elks have won football games and we're talking about playoffs,
it
really
helps
too.
It sure helps,
as opposed to being like, well, they're 1-15.
And that just so you know, tonight on my laptop there will only be one game on, and that is the Bears Huskies from Griffith Stadium. We'll be watching that thing.
He's going to have the U of A game on.
Too, so I might have to have that one on. I might have to put my
Okay, we'll be the two nerds in the corner watching the horses, our teams, and not paying attention to the Elks
while you're on the air.
No, this is the beauty about Central Casino. You could pay attention to so many different things at once because of their wall of TVs. And it's not like you go to a lot of sports bars, and this is just legit. Like, they have TVs all over the place.
Yeah.
These are all seamless together. That it is very simple to watch multiple things at once because they're all the TVs are connected, including making sure that your Del Mar Race 7 with your horse number 4 looking to place, you're watching that while watching Trey Ford or MBT.
Well,
Del Mar better be on today. I was very disappointed it wasn't on last
upset
week.
if his Del Mar's not on.
That was the first. Where was Del Mar?
Shh, Daddy's driving. Don't talk to him. That's Maddie if there's no Del Mar.
I was very disappointed there was no Del Mar. I kept betting on a race.
You had 2 races you bet on last week
that weren't even on
the TV.
But I won one of them.
Yeah, you did. So here's a funny thing is that Maddie broke it down perfectly. Horse racing is the way to bet and have a little bit of fun if you're also watching another sporting event, because there's 20 minutes in between races, gives you plenty of time to do that, gives you plenty of time to still pay attention to the game you want to, but sprinkle a little bit of action into your evening. And
it's not even
you can put a $10 you can put a $10 bill into the machine and bet all night.
Oh yeah. Do you know how much I put in last week and I used all night?
What?
$5.
Yeah, I know.
I won a couple, got it up a bit, then I used.
Do you like Del Mar because you can bet dollars?
I don't think you can.
Okay.
It's $2.
Because there was one. Didn't you find a track?
$1. Yeah. A couple other horses or places are $1. No, I like Del Mar because I've done well there. Usually betting on.
Because that makes sense at all.
I know. It looks beautiful.
It does.
And they have a great television production. Like, some of those things look like they have a webcam super high up and you have no idea what you're looking at. Like, there's a full TV production in San Diego there for that. So no, I don't know. Those reasons I like Del Mar.
I like hashtag CNTY mile.
Yes, you do.
It's good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good one. We've done well there. But boys, I do got to bounce
No, you got to go.
Dash.
Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Green and Gold kickoff, post-game shows. Kickoff starting at 5, but before that, 3 to 5. It is the Rita and Jay show. You guys got contestants for the wing challenge?
Yep.
Sweet.
Zach competing but can't win. He just wanted to try.
Perfect.
Do you want to get wings?
Yeah,
spot.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, you're in.
Okay.
Chance to win a couple of pairs of tickets to the Edmonton Elks Saskatchewan Roughriders next week. 6 o'clock or lager. It's going to be on as of 3 o'clock. Usually it's an hour before the game to an hour after, but because we're there starting at 3 o'clock, at 3 o'clock and get 6 o'clock or lager special as well. Game day special is cheese and jalapeno smoky. The daily special is the quesadilla, which is delicious there. You know, usually it's a quesadilla just fills your plate, like the circular part of your plate. They have to stack the quesadillas at Century because that's how big they are, so it's great. Thank you for coming in, Eric.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry, I don't have.
Welcome back too, by the way.
Well, thanks.
It's good to see you back around here in the office.
It's great to be back. Are you up to date on what's going on with the Dunya?
You're in the final this weekend with Luke. Yeah.
I've got a lot of decisions to make at running back.
football's the final. You should.
I have Justin Rankin, Kadeem Carey, or Greg Bell. I got to start one.
You got options.
I got lots of options.
And it's good. It's a good week. We talked
CFL
about
wise?
maybe, like sometimes championships fall in a week where there's maybe the couple of handful of buys and there's only 3
on bye this week.
Yeah.
Or I think last year the Lions were on a bye.
You want your
which
had
had
hitters.
some good players
Yeah.
that had a sit or something like that. So Centric Casino, join us tonight and come watch the horses with us as well. It's a lot of fun.
I'll be there.
It's a lot of fun.
I'll be there.
I want to get into something quickly that Dusty posted yesterday. He quote tweeted a gentleman named Thomas Casale.
We read this on the
Did you
show
guys read
this
it on
morning.
the show today? Just my 2 cents, but the NFL has slowly become the most boring sport to watch on TV. He added that he watches. I've been watching football for a long time and always complain about the refs. That's not you, but I don't remember ever being this bored week in and week out. This is a gentleman from New York, so don't come at him don't be like, oh, you're just a CFL guy. This is an American. And then Dusty posted something I did not know from Pro Football Focus, which had the game quality index of the CFL and the NFL. And the NFL hit a peak in 2021 with an 8.5, whatever that means. It's just really good. Then it dropped to a 6.2, a 5.4, and now it's sitting at a 4.8. Whereas the CFL was at a low at 2.4 in 22. Then it went to, no, that would have been 21. And then it went to 6.9, 7.4. Now it's sitting at an 8.7.
Ooh.
The NFL, I will say this, because I remember one year, JMO and I, we were talking about how it was bad football. We were watching the NFL that year. And we got ripped. Like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. We're like, no, this is bad football. And there's Peter King was writing articles and a bunch of Americans saying this is bad. The reason the NFL gets away with this is because it's Sunday Ticket. No, it's Sunday Ticket.
It's still money, though.
It's the fact that, one, you can either just watch Red Zone and you only see the good stuff of every game. So you sit there like, what a great slate of morning games. But you only seen the good of the day. Or it's the fact that when there's 8 games going on, chances are 6 of them are poor football games. But you're going to find the 2 good football.
Blind squirrel nut.
And you're going to watch those 2 games, whereas the CFL or something, they play 1 game at a time. And so when it's bad, everyone knows it was a bad football game. And when there's a great football game, everyone knows there was a great football game. But the NFL, on the weekends at the very least, could shadow it with, there's 8 games going on. Of course there's going to be a good one.
Somebody also mentioned, and the way I mean this, money. And I know what you're saying, but I think, too, the NFL's ability to showcase this stuff via those programs. And again, you can't, a CFL Red Zone wouldn't work. As you said, there's not enough teams, not enough games all at once. However, somebody brought up in the Nasty Chat this morning that can't stand the CFL because of the production quality. And I've always said that the NFL, Americans can dress up. You could have a marbles tournament and you invest billions of dollars into the production, or whatever it is, and you make that thing look like it's can't miss TV.
Bowling.
Anything.
Well,
right? They've done it before.
I'll point to what's the difference between PGA and Live. What's one of the complaints that Live gets over PGA? It's the TV production.
Yeah.
Production's not there. That's one of the reasons I don't like Live, is I don't like how it's presented.
Now, the gameplay, I know that's the original tweet going into that and the entertainment value and all, but I think, too, the NFL's always had a luxury, and I've brought this up with you, Matty, no CFL films. NFL films have been a propaganda arm of that league for years and years and years, showcasing all the best. The rich tradition, the history, and all of these storylines.
The National Football League.
The autumn winds, and all this. But the CFL's got a lot of that too. It's just it's and to bring up Dave Jamieson again, all this historical stuff just sits in a box somewhere, rotting away, getting mold. And I think again, the gameplay is one thing, but if you had the money behind the CFL game, I know people have brought up this example before. You take the CFL gameplay, the CFL rules, field dimensions, et cetera, and you have that investment financially. Because we were talking, again, the tweet was brought up. I mentioned college football today. And I think with the realignment of the conferences and everything, I've watched some bangers already this season. Historic schools going at it week whatever it is. And I mean, it's not maybe the best football, but it's a little bit open, more so than the NFL. You're not playing in a phone booth, a little more prone to mistake, but it's just got more of a feel to it that I think the CFL also brings to the table in terms of tradition and all that. So I think if you had the money to showcase that and bring it more so to the public eye, and I know even watching the Hangout this morning, Peter he credits EST for getting him into the CFL. Yeah. But he's into it because we're talking about it. And if you had more people and more eyes and more money behind it, and the game plays a totally different conversation. I get it, but because it has been like last night. I mean, aside from that field goal and not the 5.5 spread. Like it was a crap game.
Yeah,
you know, nobody
turned
was,
it off.
unless you're a Cowboys or Giants fan.
Yeah.
Well, how long have we said Thursday Night Football is trash in the NFL?
Yeah.
It has been trash for a long time. And why is it part? It's because
Almost
it's
like
a
they
singular
planned it.
game
Yeah.
and a short week, but we're watching only one game and we're going, this is a bad football.
Gotta be bangers on prime time though. You gotta schedule some, like, and I know you
But
don't
that's
know
the
as
risk
the
of a
season.
singular game.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that
You don't know how the season goes.
the
America's
games might,
team.
The games might not be bangers.
America.
Yeah.
But the CFL, every game's primetime, basically.
Especially this season,
Right?
though, and you mentioned that number. I mean, tell me a game that hasn't gone on the wire. I know that there's been a shutout, the Bombers over the Lions. I think maybe that was the only one this season. I know the Elks had a couple last year. But every game, 9 out of 10, have been gone down to the wire.
Oh, I wonder if I could find that
Walk-off
stat.
field goals. I know this market knows it well. But late in the game, I mean, winning drives, minute left, all of them have come down to the wire. And in a 9-team league, I mean, you hope and pray that that's the case, but it has been this year. They've been highly entertaining.
Yeah.
Always in the mix.
Just quickly, my parents are listening from Venice.
How's that trip going?
They're back tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
It's
Hey, you're
3
up
weeks
at their
is done.
cabin having a fire, were you not?
I was there yesterday.
Do they know? Okay.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
they wanted me to go.
Okay.
Go.
I thought this
I didn't
was like
go
a-
long enough, so I was there
Go flush the toilets.
Well, yeah, keep the water.
2 nights ago for the fire. Then it rained. So I had
Yeah,
to-
what a rain, hey?
I had to put out the fire a little
It's a
early.
decent little downpour.
But yeah, they're back tomorrow, and I get my Ajax jersey.
Oh, good
I
for
showed you that picture.
Yeah.
So can't wait for that one. But yeah, no, like for
the
a while,
things that excite our
Well,
Mr.
CFL.
Iwanyk.
CFL is always my favorite football, but I would rather watch NCAA right now than the NFL. For the last couple of years, I felt that.
Yes.
I
felt like
it's
that for a
more
while.
exciting, and part of that is like because you can't say the production versus NFL versus college football.
college
Because
football,
the
no,
production
no,
is
it's
different.
better.
So you don't right, like
Yeah.
so you can't go there. So now it's like you're evaluating gameplay and stuff,
Yeah.
and when the atmosphere of some of those college games
Crowds,
is ridiculous.
the energy,
And on top of that, it's like I always related to watching the World Juniors. What makes the World Juniors so much fun is partly mistakes happen.
Yes.
That one mistake that leads to the odd man rush the other
It's
way.
entertaining.
NCAA football is the same. Like,
Yeah.
Actually, the kickers are getting a lot better now. There's more guarantees, I think, with kickers in college football. But those mistakes that happen that you just normally don't see could change an entire football game, and it makes it so much more exciting.
Yeah.
The NFL just
It's all in a phone booth, it feels like sometimes. Everything's so tight.
The NHL's like that too. I mean, it's no different.
There's
right?
no
It's the
room
NHL
for,
versus
yeah,
NHL.
it's just, I want a little more looseness in it all.
Yeah.
And the CFL's pro ball. I mean, again, the Ocho Cinco video always resurfaces of him saying, you know, a lot of these guys, it's a step away. The money is the gap in terms of player salaries, but it's these are grown men. We've always said, you know, who wins the national champion against the great, you know, that old, well, it's men against boys, and it is. And it's
Stoffer
different.
brings that one up.
And it's a good argument to have. I get the debate, but it is men against
Men beat
boys.
boys.
But again, in the college ranks, you go watch U of A Gold, Huskies Wildcats as well. JP Bowl, Battle of Edmonton tomorrow night, 7:00 kickoff should be good. But again, there is a difference there between age and stuff, and I do like the chance at a little something happening, a little bit of chaos.
Who do the Hurricanes got this weekend? I'm not happy with the realignment. I won't lie about college football.
The Pac-2.
Well, they're up to 7.
Yeah, 20 isn't
They're
it?
up to 7 now.
Yeah. I saw a Pac-20 graphic the other day.
No, they've added Boise State, San Diego State,
UTEP?
Utah State, Fresno State. Who am I missing? I'm missing one more. And now the Mountain West is like, there's a lot happening. But the thing about college sports overall that was the regionalism. The Pac-12 being the Pacific Coast, the ACC being the Atlantic Coast, the SEC being the Southern, Big Ten really being the Midwest.
And you only meet in a bowl.
Right, and that's what made it okay. The Rose Bowl was, if it wasn't the national championship or something, was the Pac-12 meets the Big Ten. You know, you got the Big 12, which was, you know, Texas and Oklahoma and all that. And now you've got, in a couple weeks, Miami's going to take on Cal.
USC was at Michigan there the other day. It was weird.
Yeah.
Week, whatever it is.
Conference game.
Yeah, sure, I know. But it's
it was
still
for
weird. I don't need
conference,
that. Really.
And now, like,
it's fun, but
the Pac-12 was
interesting.
looking initially at, like, Memphis and Tulane. It's like, Memphis isn't Pacific Coast.
well, okay, you're regional.
Cal, Stanford is not Atlantic Coast.
Yeah.
You know, and we're breaking away from that part of it, the regionalism that made it what it was, where it was then the regions came at me. Like in Canada University, it's the Can West. You got Ontario, you got Quebec and the Maritimes. And they meet when they need to meet in the national championship. And it's okay, who's the best of the country?
Yep.
And it's because of money. I know why it's happening.
Sure.
We're going to basically be down to 2 conferences one day.
Yep.
It's going to be the
fair.
SEC, it's going to be the Big Ten that are going to be loaded up, and then there's everyone else.
Yeah.
And the games are
And
going to be
Notre
great.
Dame.
It's going to be so much. Notre Dame will still always
They're
be
still
on
on
the
the
side.
independent.
But it's like that. And Chip Kelly said it best, I think, that maybe what they needed to do was have football as its own thing. That let football be all over the place.
so big that it.
But why is USC going to take on Michigan in wrestling,
Right.
in volleyball? Like, that's not what this is designed
I think we
for.
talked about too the cost of travel for those programs.
All of it.
Aside from the football's got the money, they can travel around the globe, play games in Ireland and everything.
Football gives everyone
I don't know about your synchronized swimming or field hockey or whatever you want to. I don't think they have the funds to kind of go all around the country like that.
Exactly. It's just like it.
But I do like.
But I love the games. Still
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just. It's not the college football
I know.
I grew up on.
We're traditionalists, Matty. I know we're old men now.
I want to see that late Pac-12 game between Arizona State and Oregon, just because that's the Pac-12 and Pac-12 after dark.
Well, even the Civil War, Oregon State happened. That usually happens late in the season because those rivalry games would, when you were within the conference, happen. You know this too. Cougars and
Thanksgiving
Huskies.
weekend usually is off.
Later in the season, they had theirs now non-conference game. Week 3, which was kind of they tore a bit of the lure off of it.
So that's the part where I just like.
But I still don't mind
Makes me
seeing
sad.
2 heavy hitters.
It's
week
fun.
in, week out. I
Yeah.
mean, we're all.
Well, now it's
pretty neat.
You can
It's
afford
neat.
losses because the 12 team, 12 or 16.
That's kind of it, though.
12 team playoffs. 12 team playoffs.
12.
You can afford losses.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, the BCS system.
The BCS.
Remember the BCS
oh
system?
God, I love it.
Oh, it was their old computer system. That's how the computer decided who were the top 2 teams in
Computer.
the nation. The
wow.
computer.
The computer.
There were 25 different things that no one could explain, and they'd vote on the top 2 teams, and those 2 teams went to the national championship. There was no playoffs. There was nothing else. And basically, if you had a loss, you were not going to win. You were not going to get credited by the BCS.
Sometimes though.
It was very rare.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Depending on your school.
And then you'd have those years, there'd be 3 undefeated teams. And the computers would determine which one gets knocked out. And it was just like, this is and that's what led to initially the 14 playoff system.
Oh, okay.
And now we're to
What's the
12.
playoff now? 12? Yeah? Yeah,
12.
12.
So the 4 conference champs get buys. Because I think Pac-12's out of it right now. But I think they have a spot where 5 there's a couple of conference champs that just get automatically in. I think it might be 5 or 6. And then the rest are at larges. But you get a bunch of teams that can go in. And rank the Washington State Cougars already, you cowards.
Wow.
They're 4-0.
Wow.
They took down Washington in the Apple Cup on the road. They
What's
took down
the
Texas
schedule
Tech.
strength? Yeah.
They took down Texas Tech.
Okay.
They've beaten those teams.
Yeah.
Boise State they're taking on this weekend, I think. Boise State's 2-1, and they're ranked 25th.
Well.
Washington State's 4-0. Rank them, you cowards.
Wow.
I've been to that stadium. It's,
Pullman?
Yeah.
No way.
I think it was
That'd be a fun one.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Who was their quarterback then?
They've actually had
Jake
some really good
Locker or something
quarterbacks.
like that.
Jake Locker.
Jake Locker. Yes.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'll say this, they've produced more NFL quarterbacks than USC. Better ones.
Interesting.
He takes a sip. I love
Actually
it.
done pretty well.
Well, you know.
me, sorry.
Quinn was at that Apple Cup here, wasn't she?
Was she?
Yeah, she went on a trip down
I know
there.
she went to
You have to
Seattle.
ask her about that.
She went to the Apple Cup.
I think it was the Apple Cup.
It would probably make sense. It was about 2
Pretty sure she was
'cause I remember
tailgating.
She went to Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the weekend. I'm pretty sure. You have to ask her about that next time she's in. She's had a good time, looked like.
I have to think. Well, it's a good rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to go to Rival?
No. I was going to change the subject.
Go for it.
Because my ADD was wanting me to blurt. But
I think we've talked enough college football.
you took me down a trip down memory lane this morning when you guys interviewed Chris Knobloch.
Oh,
So, I'm a Saskatchewan boy as well. Imperial.
Yeah.
And I was raised in Wynyard, Saskatchewan. And B Provincials one year, they weren't, Imperial wasn't a big enough city.
360, I think,
that
is
what
the
it was?
pop, the rough pop.
And Wynyard's pop would be maybe 1,500 to 1,800 at that time. And Chris Knobloch was called up as an underager to a team that was Imperial Simpson had
Yes, Simpson. Yes.
joined up together
Yep.
so that they could go into B provincials together. And Knobloch scored, I want to say, at least 2 or 3 goals against us and beat us out in provincials one year.
That's your. His daughter teaches swimming lessons to my nieces in the summer at Edders Beach.
No way.
That's my. Didn't want to bring it up. We only had a finite amount of time, so I figured I'd stick to the hockey. But
So anyways, thanks for the painful memories of losing provincials to Imperial Simpson.
well, you made Wynyard proud, though. I mean, in the end, you represented Imperial Simpson, though. That's your one town taking on 2. That's the odds are always stacked against you.
I mean, yeah. North versus South. It was already stacked against us.
This is the EST Hangout. Matt Iwanyk, Lieutenant Eric, even though it says J Mill on the side of the screen. Apologies, I don't have that corrected there.
If only we had somebody
and
behind the
Dash in
scenes to
Park.
fix that.
I guess I could go yell for that. We're live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, tune in iHeartRadio, as well as on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink, the legend of 1952, a drink unlike any other. Sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada. I should have picked some of those up this week for my stay at home, but I was missing them because they are absolutely delicious.
I had a couple in earlier in the week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, how was
Taylor and Katie were in, so
I've heard great things.
People were talking, yeah.
I've heard a lot of Estes around that.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. They were
really good
bubbly
episode,
people, yeah. Smart, bright, talented, obviously on the mat, but also in the Amazing Race. Easy team to get behind if you watch that show.
Stories. Yeah, like just a few of them.
They were kind of the protagonist, I think you could argue, of that show storyline.
Really?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Because we were kind of, I was dishing on Kevin Martin a bit. Like he played a great villain, and he's kind of.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's naturally. But they kind of, I think, took the. They played the game good. The reality TV side of it all, and I think somebody
Never watched Amazing Race though.
right. But I think Kevin Martin being in the Big Brother, kind of brought a few of that to the Amazing Race, which you didn't have to. So that kind of, but they just raced. They believed in themselves, like said all the right things and did all the right things and didn't push any bad buttons. And I think a lot of people kind of got on board. And again, couple of local products winning it here in Edmonton in the final episode. And in one of the episodes they got they finished last, so you should be out. And it was kind of like the wild card, you're still. So that was kind of like a boom, down, up, emotions running high, and it was a hell of a story. But they were great in here. It's a great episode. Tommy was sitting right here.
Yes, he was.
Do you know how he was sitting too? Oh God! What a week!
I've heard a lot about that.
We don't need to get on
I
that.
haven't heard a lot. I've heard a bit about Tommy and maybe HR Daddy going to have to get involved.
A page needs to be amended to the code of conduct, shall we say?
The
a full
wardrobe
page. Yeah.
Oh, wow, full page.
A full page.
It was a huge problem, was it?
Well,
HR
go that
Daddy
far.
did say that we could always make amendments to that. It was version 1. As you remember? It was version 1. So portions of this hour of the EST Hangout are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk, promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out at thehighproductmarketing.com. I got to connect with Chelsea here. Because I was away this week, I didn't have a chance to talk with her. I need to get some stuff done when it comes to the pop-up store that's going to open up in the month of October, as well as the Nasty Club package. I want to get that announced and to everyone. I've got a giveaway to give away today too. We've got 2 tickets to the Edmonton Oilers game on Monday, September 30th. Thanks to Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for sending that to us. So we'll give those away in this hour. Did Dusty talk about EST Flyaway?
He's mentioned it briefly on the show. Yeah, we've teased it.
You guys haven't gone into the full details?
Oh, he's gone into the full details. He sure has, yeah.
Well, I just didn't know if... we're going to start this on Tuesday.
Do you not want me to say he's going to... Yeah.
No, well, I was going to go into it, but I was like, I don't know if he's done it yet or not.
He has,
I just want to make sure that we're all...
We're sending you to the Into It. Hey?
Well...
Into It. There's a play... Into It.
Starting on Tuesday, we'll start qualifying for a number of weeks. Stay tuned. EST Flyaway to Los Angeles. We want to send you and someone else to LA to go see LA and Golden State in the Intuit Dome.
You're going to get into it.
You got to go watch Edmonton play some hockey, as well as LA, Arizona, National Football League, at SoFi Stadium, rental car. We want to send you their trip. You could extend it if you'd like. But
It's a nice time of year after Christmas, before New Year type of thing. You're
December
kinda...
26th till December 30th.
Yeah.
We want to send you to Los Angeles to go watch a basketball game, a hockey game, an NFL game, and also be in Los Angeles while it's Edmonton. You know,
Yeah.
it's this. Here
There'll be
in
a lot of other
Edmonton.
folks down there.
So stay tuned to EST starting next Tuesday. Qualifying opportunities 4 times a day. The Nielsen Show, The Hangout, EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager, and the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, and also on Saturdays on Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell. But Edmonton Sports Talk, we want to send you to Los Angeles, so stay tuned for that. We sent someone to Vegas earlier this year. Now it's time to send someone to Los Angeles.
City of Angels. La La Land.
The city of stars. And the Stars generally are either a Laker or a Dodger.
Wow.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, they are the division champions. Dodgers.
So are the New York Yankees. Watch them.
I was wondering if this
dingers
would
for
come
old
up.
Judge.
Way to go.
Old guys, eh?
What?
5-0. Great.
I was
Way to
watching
go,
it yesterday, and yeah,
Had that on at the Century Casino Sports Bar Lounge, one of the TVs.
It was great.
Yeah.
Then they played the Frank Sinatra New York song after.
You're gonna love it.
Wonderful.
Going
to the playoffs.
He's tearing up already.
Our magic number is 2 games for clinching the American League and overall,
Yes, okay.
which is very important. I want it all to have to go through New York this year.
Sure.
09's been a long time since we last won.
It's been a while for you, hey? Yeah.
For the New York Yankees,
You poor
it's a long
thing.
time.
It's true, yeah. He's
So
been in the
now
book road.
this is the year. Aaron Boone better do it. I wanted him fired. I still probably do, but go get it done,
This is
Aaron.
a Ten Hog thing all over again here, hey?
I was the flip side of
Oh,
it.
you're flipping and flopping.
I never was ever 10 hog out.
Boone, though, yeah. No, but you got to feel good. Hey, they're coming in hot. I mean, 10-1, you thump the Orioles
You're
here.
in the
You
American League East.
pretty...
Handily.
That's a nice thing. The
Yeah.
American League East, we went into this year going, that's a tough division.
Yeah.
And to win it, beating the Orioles, that's a nice way to go into the playoffs. Can they now go get it done in the playoffs? That's the other question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the Yankees can go do that necessarily yet. I know most people don't want this, but I know baseball would love to see Yankees Dodgers in a World Series.
Oh, after this season, it's been Judge v. Otani and all that. I mean...
Traditional
Judge
Soto
or the
versus
whole thing.
Ohtani and Betts and stuff.
Yeah.
The 2 markets
Writes
going
itself.
after the 2
Writes
historical
itself.
franchises going at it.
Yeah.
There'd be so many people that would hate that one.
Well, people love to
But
hate.
for a ratings perspective,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best case scenario.
you couldn't ask for better. And then Juan Soto will cross the town and go to the Mets next year, apparently.
That's the smoke?
It's the Mets or Yankees, it sounds like. And if it's about money, it'll probably be the Mets.
That's, yeah.
If it's about winning and more than just money, it'll be the Yankees.
I'm excited for playoff ball again.
You based
Some good wild card races, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just another disappointed year
Yeah.
as a Jays fan. What are you going to do?
No, baseball is playoffs.
Been fun to watch
Can't
Francis
miss.
this year, and he had another great start.
Yeah.
And, there's some highlights, but I mean, with the Bichette injury and just that team not pulling its weight again, and
Crushing.
yeah,
But there's just something
It's
about
hard.
baseball when you go from the marathon of a 162 game season to then the sprint of best of 5, best of 7 series.
I think we all like opening
Right.
day.
Yes.
It's the sign of summer, spring to come. They got the banners out and everything, the red, white, and blue. And then you kind of the dog days of summer, there's a dip again.
for sure.
But you do like a West Coast game, 30 degrees. Like, I don't mind, middle of summer, nothing else is on. But then since that, up until like now, you kind of hate it again because football's up and everything.
Yeah.
But now playoff baseball comes. So it's like this. You're up and down all baseball season, but now we're coming up again for the playoff.
All the major sports, baseball has the biggest differential in excitement level of the regular season versus the postseason.
Yeah.
Like by a country mile, right? I think regular seasons are regular seasons in all sports, but baseball playoffs seem to have that. Just that degree
Well, every
of-
pitch matters.
Yeah.
I think the wild card too now when you get those afternoon like one off and kind of like you've gone so far and you lose a game or whatever it is and you're done. Like it's just come on in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, it's
After 200 regular
It's
season.
terrible.
if you're a 100-win team in baseball, that's a great season. it means you lost 62
You
baseball
still
games,
lost
right?
62
Like, you
games,
still lost 62 baseball games.
Yeah.
But that is an unbelievable season. Like, wow, how did you do that type thing?
Yeah.
And then you get to the playoffs where it's, okay, yeah, you lose. To start, you lose one game. Go home. Thanks for playing. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Better luck.
But even when you get to the World Series, it's still just a best of 7.
I know.
And
it's terrible.
Like, in base, like throughout the regular season, you could afford to go on a 3-7 run through 10 because it's such a long season.
You can streak.
You're gonna have those. You streak in the bad time, like in the wrong way, and there's the World Series.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I've also been very fascinated this year. I know we're talking 100 wins, but 120 losses, or I don't know what they're at right now. If they've beaten that 62 Mets record, they were sitting at 120, and the other night they won, and their fans booed them off the field for not losing. But because at this point, you might as well get the record. They're all 15 fans there. I mean, come on, it's so depressing. But I was so fascinated with the whole story. Like, it's
120
just terrible.
losses still.
Still 120.
They've won 3 in a row.
Oh my God.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna.
They're 5-5 in their last 10.
And they don't want. I get they don't want to be like.
Yes.
They don't want to hold the record as players. I get it, but
Winners of 3. But here's the crazy
it's so
part.
baseball to hope your team does get that, because why not?
Do you think they're actually motivated in the locker room to be like, we don't want this record?
I don't think you as a player
Really?
want that, because
I don't think you want that record.
because then you're historically the worst. But as a fan, I think it's gonna, because baseball's fun.
Well, cheer for something.
You just cheer for
If you've
something.
watched that, you've already watched 120 losses. Give me the record.
Set the damn record.
Give me the record.
Yeah, but I can understand the players not wanting to.
But okay, so
That whole thing is
here's
just
the crazy
great.
part, though.
How many games back are they? 500?
It's a little bit weird. It's like the
just-
Sabres going, let's go another 10 years. Who cares?
They
It'll be
are,
fun.
they are 56 games back of the Dodgers for the
I
best
love it.
record in baseball.
I love it.
For the best record in the American League, they are 54 games back. And when it comes to their division,
Is that the biggest gap ever?
they are 53 games back.
I just love reading that. I love seeing that number there. It's just
Here's the thing, though. If I said at the
biggest
start of
gap
the
ever.
year, it's gotta be
since
close.
62. I mean biggest loss record, but I mean in terms of gap, I don't know what the.
Okay, if I said at the start of the season, though, someone's going to set the record for most losses in a season or, like, be there, we would have all said Oakland.
Oakland for sure.
Yeah.
Like, how bad are you, Chicago?
And that's the thing. It takes the shine off the season. It should have been Oakland's season. We're all talking about the Yankees.
historically bad year.
You talk about the good teams, but this was Oakland's year. You know, and they would have celebrated and they would have been not cared. But now the White Sox are kind of stealing that storyline.
There were 5 teams worse than Oakland this year. Well, Washington's tied with them. But still, like, they were supposed to be historically bad this year, and they still ended up winning 69 games. 39 and 120 for the Chicago
I
White
love it. But they going out on a high note, though. Hey,
Who do they finish off against? They got the Tigers.
they're on the road, and the Tigers are fighting for a spot.
Well,
aren't they?
what I was
The
gonna
wild
say,
card.
though.
So
I think they're holding on to a wild card.
they
spot, so
knocked the
need it.
Tigers out of a wild card spot. Come
That's
on,
amazing.
The
Great
Twins
theater.
they're 3 games back, so I think it's
What's the race this far? Because
Orioles are in.
Yeah.
Because 3 wild card teams make it, right?
Yeah.
KC, Detroit are tied for the last wild card spot, and the Twins are 3 back. So the Twins need to sweep. They need, I guess, KC, Detroit, one of them to lose out. In the National League, the Padres have the wild card spot. Mets and Arizona are holding on to it.
Braves still.
Braves, the 1 back.
Okay.
And then when it comes to divisions, I think they're all locked in.
Yeah. But Rip City Step, who's a resident Padre fan, they had the best record since May. I think he was saying.
Padres?
They've been the hottest, and they were nipping the Dodgers for that division title too before last night. But
I hope Arizona could do well again.
I don't mind watching them as a
Although
neutral.
I don't like their colors that they kind of switched to, like the reddish.
No, they got to go back to the original.
Yes.
Yeah. Purple, white, teal.
Yeah, baseball playoffs is a lot of fun. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Rip City Step saying the Padres got much better by getting rid of Soto, which is wild because the Yankees have gotten everything, if not more, from Juan Soto this year.
Okay,
he has been absolutely brilliant for the Yankees this season. And so that's interesting how it was like, I guess both teams won that trade. You lose Juan Soto if you're the Padres, and if Rip City said like, they got better, great. And for the Yankees, I don't think they have this season without Juan Soto. Him and Judge have been absolutely crushing it for the Yankees.
Yeah.
You don't usually see that.
Well, and from a Bills point of view, and I know totally different sport and totally different points can be made, but Stephon Diggs leaving the fold. Herm Edwards this morning just saying now this is really Josh Allen's. And I mean, again, not to say Diggs is a bad player and he'll probably help the Texans, but
Abutsky and the Paris Jewels inbox. Screw the ratings. It's my Guardians year. 53 games back of who in the AL Central?
Yeah,
the Guardians. Well, we shall see. And Aidan O'Neill, the Braves and Mets play a doubleheader on Monday from postponed games due to the hurricane. And those are the two teams fighting for the last wild card spot.
Say that again, sorry.
Monday. Braves and Mets play for a doubleheader on Monday from postponed games due to the hurricane. And those are the two teams fighting for the last wild card spot. Going to be a crazy Monday.
Love it. And we will be off Monday, correct? Programming,
Yes.
schedule-wise, yeah.
Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Correct.
Would the Yankees trade like 5 pitchers for Soto or something like that? I seem to remember it being like all pitchers. And I mean, it's easier, like as far as Rip City says, maybe it's easier for the Padres to have a better season with.
It depends on your makeup and everything, right? Like
they needed the pitching.
I just got to try to find the trade here.
It's like the Oilers. If you're going to have nothing but offense and outscore your mistakes all the time, does it really matter if you lose one of your guys in your top 6?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm taking that methodology as well with the team just outscoring. I mean, we're going to have exciting games. You know,
4 pitchers and a catcher. Although they flipped one of those to the White Sox.
4 pitchers and a catcher. Okay. It was Hill and
to the White Sox. That poor bastard.
Yeah, like Drew Thorpe is now a member of the Chicago White Sox, and you go from the Yankees to the Padres, both teams in the playoffs, and now you're on the historic bad team. Michael King, Wani Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Higashioka. That's who was traded to the Padres. So. Hey, works out for both teams. Then in the end, it works out for both teams. Baseball playoffs, it's going to get going really soon here, and it's a lot of fun. And I forgot that they do like the playoffs, like how it's during the day.
It's the best. People are working. They're like, what?
I have to bring my computer in here.
Jays fans wait all year long. Then they get into that wild card. It's like, oh, I got to work, and they miss it.
Yeah, one game.
Yeah.
And now some breaking news. TSN alert. Christine Sinclair announces a retirement from professional soccer effective the end of the NWSL season. Last year, she retired from international competition, but now she's going to be retired. An unbelievable career.
Goat.
What's broadcasting, or do we know of any ideas for her? Yeah, I mean, she's a face of the sport here and everything. I mean, I don't know what she could.
I don't know if she
got the chops.
Broadcasting where?
I don't know. I'm just wondering.
One soccer.
Somebody like her, though, you don't just ride off into the
just like Kia Nurse,
the abyss.
You get brought in to do your commentary or
a national.
I'm trying to think
World
how
Cup
she
coming
would,
up.
like. I don't know how she is on.
I know. I'm just wondering.
I don't think she's really that.
Some of her popularity, though, I just would. What do you parlay this into? I don't know.
Well, if you're one soccer and you're playing Canadian women's soccer matches, there's no one better, I think, to analyze the women's game than Christine Sinclair.
Representative.
Bring her on for the men's games too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. World Cup coming up and everything.
It, but Janine Becky's really good at it, but I guess she's still playing. I'm not sure. Yeah. Although I don't know if you saw Jesse Marsh had a press conference last week.
For what?
Just international window coming up, and they announced their team, and he talked about how they want to, it's great playing games in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, but they want to play more games in other cities, and he specifically mentioned Edmonton and Halifax.
Well, you know the magic that happened here. Herdman knows the magic.
You and him shared that moment.
We had a moment, yeah.
You shared that moment.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised, honestly, if Edmonton ever brings him back in the near future.
For a competitive style.
Well, for anything, just with what happened with the World Cup.
You could see a friendly, though, against St. Kitts. You know what I mean?
No. I don't know why Edmonton would want to do it.
Oh, why Edmonton would?
Why Edmonton wouldn't sit there and go, we were supposed to get a World Cup.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And you guys didn't help us get the World Cup.
I get it, yeah.
Screw you. We're good. We don't need to do this. We're not going to push for this. Have fun. Go to Halifax. Go to Vancouver. Go to the other cities. We did our job for many years, and we didn't get the prize at the end. So we're good.
Perhaps different people at the helm, future-wise, maybe.
But what's on the horizon for Canada, like getting for when you're Canada soccer?
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're Edmonton. Like, World Cup's not coming back to North America.
No.
For a really long time.
Probably ever.
What do you...
That's what I'm saying, a friendly. It's nothing.
Well, so then why would you want it? That's what I'm saying from an Edmonton perspective. You wouldn't want anything.
Well, you want to get an event.
Why?
Why not? Sell some hot dogs and...
You bring other events. And it's like...
Well...
Because if it's just a regular friendly, you might sit there and be like, that's a tough sell.
It might be, but if they do really well in approaching the World Cup, like around this timeline... Like it's no better time for that men's national team than now. That they haven't been as competitive as they are now. And I know it wouldn't be maybe a full 11 that you would get, but I don't know.
That's the point. But like,
I'd rather have that than like, I don't know, Monster Jam.
Me too.
I want it back at Commonwealth.
Sure. Don't get me wrong.
No, but like if you're the same, like you've done that job. You've done it for a long time, and you didn't get the prize at the end. So why would you commit and put any sort of manpower and resources behind something that it's lesser than what you wanted?
Money.
But it's not going to be that much money.
Not much. Still money.
But you have to sell it.
Yeah.
And if you don't sell it well, you're not getting that money.
But if you do.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of work to go sell that. And it's a lot easier to go
get
sell
to work.
It's a lot easier to go sell Ice Tekka when you're saying this is a team that's going to go to the World Cup.
Absolutely, yeah.
As opposed to
that momentum was really good.
St. Kitts. You're not getting 20,000 people coming for that. And you're also saying it's not our top 11.
I know. But hey, if Marsh said it.
Yeah, but that's Canada Soccer might be interested.
No, I know.
I still stand by. I would be surprised personally if Edmonton would be like, yeah, we're in.
Well, they may not jump at it like that, but there's always never say never. He's flirting.
Get to work.
Let the games begin. Huh?
Have I missed anything Oilers-wise? We all good? Everything's fine?
Yeah, I mean, what's the problem with them? Yeah. There's no problems with them. There's no gaping holes anywhere on the right.
Perfect team. Look at preseason is BS. Let's just put it down right there. Like what they've given up
not for Drew Doughty. Too soon.
It's never too soon.
But it's to your point though.
Shattered his ankle.
Fractured his ankle the other night.
Oh really?
And he was down. And Dusty made mention too. He wasn't in pain, but he's looking at his foot like you're in shock where you're like, holy shit, I've done something here. Like yeah. So, but again, to your point, preseason is a time where you're like, let's just
for anybody.
Let's just keep things above board here. Don't
I would fully we've given up a touchdown sans the extra.
The aggregate looks bad on the whole, up to the eye. But I mean, whatever.
Calgary has an AHL quality team. Like I would hope that those guys come out and play like they want to win a spot. Right? Like, I mean, our
they're fighting for jobs.
They're fighting
the Oilers are fighting to just stay healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Winnipeg had a veteran-laden squad the other night out in
10 of their top 12 scorers. We sent one of our top 11 scorers. They had all 4 of their starting centers, their top 3 D. Of course we're going to get our ass kicked. Of course we are. But
it's for the coaches to see what they have in certain individuals. And
just to get your legs under you.
Get legs, sure, conditioning, yeah.
But it still takes a few games at the regular season.
I'm fascinated to see how this start will be, though.
Herm Edwards still maintains this morning, too, that the NFL is still in preseason mode.
This long in.
No, I love it. Because they don't play their starters for the, 4 weeks.
But this long in.
But again, as a bit of a reason or / excuse for the poor play that we talked about earlier on.
Sure, but
how long does that go? Like, how many weeks of preseason do we have? 10 weeks?
How many games are we in? This is only we're in
week 4.
This is still only week 4. Yeah, it is.
We kicked off week 4 last.
No, that makes sense to me. I could agree.
I know, but it's just like okay, then why are we doing this? Maybe you have 8 weeks of preseason then. And then
I feel the same with the CFL. The CFL only has 2 preseason weeks.
Yeah, they get right to it.
We get right into the regular season.
You get the.
It takes a few weeks to get the teams going.
Perhaps,
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I just kind of find it funny that, like. We're in week 8 of the NFL preseason. How long does it stretch out? 12? 14?
Well, there was a story I remember hearing from Ken Hitchcock who would say it'd be about a month into the NHL season before players are at the level that they should be for the regular season.
And again,
it takes that time.
Depending on your roster and what kind of team you are, if you are fielding players that maybe do play more in the... Depending on the team, like obviously the Oilers won't be there because a lot of these guys won't be.
Yeah, but it's like because even the competition you're going against isn't NHL level.
Yeah,
right. Like as you go through the preseason, even if the Oilers, like the Jets, you said they have a veteran roster last game, but they're not going against the veteran roster. So the competition they're having to prepare for against is in NHL. So it takes a good month almost into the NHL season for everyone to get to the proper level of NHL hockey. So I would feel like that would be 3-4 games in the NFL. I thought we were a little bit longer.
Reason or excuse, though, I just kind of find it a little... So I'm sure you talk to like older guys. Oh, not in my day. Like we got out there.
Right.
Preseason ends and like I get it. But sports science and all it is this day and age, you kind of got to...
It doesn't match real game experience in real time playing a 60-minute that matters.
True.
Where 2 points are on the line. I don't care. You could play all the exhibition games you want with all your stars, but until the games like there's something on the line, doesn't.
But then let's lessen the exhibition
100%.
schedule so then that doesn't bleed in so much into the regular
The gates,
season.
Eric, the gate revenue.
Okay, so we're gate revenue for how many preseason games? You get
24.
Exactly. No, but how many per team? 8 in the or whatever it is.
7 or 8.
7 or 8,
I think.
So then you add another 7
I think there's a couple teams that are a little lower.
Right, but you add 7 or 8 then onto the regular season. That's 16 preseason games, quote unquote. I'd rather have like 4 true preseason and then get the regular for gate. Like, I mean, now you're getting gate for like,
Yeah, can't give up that gate, Eric.
especially for preseason
It's not like
levels.
the
of
Oilers played
preseason
110 games last year.
I want to leave this room right now. I hate that story. It's so frustrating.
Hockey should be 4 preseason games.
And not just hockey. I'm
Maybe
talking like
5.
sports, like in general.
NFL, CFL should be 2. Baseball should be maybe 3 weeks.
Because then it lessens the bleeding into the regular. I'd rather pay for them going hard and playing to their.
I understand why baseball's a month long.
pitchers and catchers,
But that's the best.
So many players.
And it's somewhere else.
They play it somewhere else.
Probably the best preseason of any sport, arguably. Or what are we talking? Soccer does their global
Soccer
tours.
travels
They go around and
But I could use less of that.
yeah. But I'd love to go to like a cactus league or a grape, like and just live there for a week.
Cactus for me over grapefruit.
Sure. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I don't know with basketball preseason how long they go.
I
I
can
don't feel like it's.
give or take that.
But
I know.
hockey and NFL need to shorten theirs.
Yeah.
Straight up. Let's just get to the regular season.
Yep.
We're going to still sit there and be like, well, they're not at game speed yet. So let's do it with a real game.
Exactly. Yeah. Here.
And then we don't have to overreact.
Athletes self-load manage all the frickin' time anyways. Like, really, does it matter if Draisaitl takes 5 games off in the middle of the season or, doesn't try as hard for preseason?
It's all tabulated.
It's all, yeah.
It's all graphs, numbers, and iPads. Right? Like it's all
checked with a scientist. He's
on there.
correct.
It's all on there.
Ask Crusher. He'll know.
He knows it all.
He'll figure it
he's-
Crusher with the
He'll tell you
Oilers.
exactly
Look at
how
them
many
ready.
minutes Draisaitl will play this season.
To the
He's ran
second.
the numbers. Well, he put in the algorithm.
A full algorithm for playing.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't. The thing I hate about preseason is the overreactions you sometimes get.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like a player plays poor, and it's like, well,
Can be kind of fun though,
or that player has a great game or a great preseason, and it's
because we've talked too about this Oilers score line if it was reversed.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Oh boy,
it would prove that
Look
they're
out.
the Cup contenders.
Ah, yeah.
For sure. Look at what's happening.
The farm is
Or Brandon Perlini,
Lamborghini Perlini.
Tyrati,
Yurko.
Patrick Thorson.
Thomas Yurko, did he
had
have
an
a preseason?
unbelievable preseason.
been a few.
Kyler Yamamoto had a great first preseason, and then he played in the NHL, and he had to be sent down for before 9 games or 10 games or whatever it was because he couldn't do it once it got to NHL hockey. We always overreact, good and bad.
Yeah.
That's why I can't wait till it's over. Can't wait till it's done. We could just watch real hockey for 2 points
Sure.
because that's what matters.
Yep. Agreed.
And maybe a Bettman point here or there.
I'll be fascinated to see how the season starts for the Oilers. I mean,
Oh, they're going to be hot out of the gate.
will they?
Dusty says the complete reverse. The Bizarro world from last year.
Will they? I don't know.
So
No,
where's the losing streak?
It's in there somewhere.
Ah, I see what you mean.
They always have a bad December. Last year they didn't have a bad December.
Haven't really looked at the
start of
schedule like
year.
that, but-
well, I was actually going to look up the start of their season.
Yeah.
Defeated you.
Winnipeg, Chicago, Calgary, Philly, Nashville, Dallas is their
Okay.
first 6. Winnipeg at home, Chicago at home, Calgary at home, Philly at home. Then they go to Nashville and they go to Dallas.
3 guaranteed wins, probably.
Chicago and Calgary back-to-back Saturday and Sunday. They should be wins.
Nashville, Draisaitl owns.
Nashville, though,
Yeah,
have done
but
some
they
work.
revamped
They've done
their
some work.
team.
Hey,
That might
they're
not
own Steven Stamkos' Predators.
That's going to be a fascinating
Yep.
to see
Trotz
who the
has got them-
But also with that, okay, to the point of Herm Edwards, how long is it going to take for Nashville to
Yeah.
be them?
Yeah.
But that they're going to be this year.
How long is it going to take the Oilers to be them? They made a lot of changes.
Oh, yes,
They've
yes,
turned
yes,
over
yes.
minimum 25%.
We jest,
of
but
that.
you're right. Yeah.
Philly should be a win. At home. So you got Winnipeg, Nashville, Dallas. They should go, let's say 1-1-1 there. Let's just, for argument's sake, that should be 4-1-1.
Should be.
The first 6 to me.
Sure.
That'd be the line I could put.
I think
could
we all
handle
take that today, hey?
I could handle a 3-2-1, I guess, to a degree to start the season.
Our defense is worse. Our. The Oilers defense is
Thank
worse.
you.
The
Tom
Oilers-
winced somewhere.
or some part of him did.
It's like how your ears are burning whenever someone says we
No, he
for
gets,
a sport.
he goes,
Yeah, Tommy.
twinge.
What was that?
Oh.
Tommy's wrench twinges a bit. Sorry, HR.
Moved.
I lost my
Yeah.
train of thought there. Okay, so our
Defense is
our
worse.
defense
Yeah.
is worse. Our penalty kill technically should be worse. 2 or 3 of our toughest guys and most intimidating players aren't there anymore.
Yeah, but it's not tough man's game.
Yeah. 3 out of our 4 fastest players
Yeah.
have moved on.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is speed important in the playoffs? Is intimidation and toughness important in the playoffs? Is defense important in the playoffs?
But we're still in the preseason.
The defense will improve come playoff time because you'll get a defender at the deadline.
Yeah. So that'll get checked.
Yeah.
Kane will be
fascinated with the start.
the addition.
Is Kane going to be an addition to this team? Like, is he gonna, if he comes back,
if and when.
like that, I look at this Oilers season, and I've said this for the last couple of years, and the regular season should not matter. It doesn't. Just get me to April.
Yes.
The playoff hockey matters
Yes.
because everything that happened in the regular season goes away.
And what's
It's
that
a
roster
brand new
look like
time.
at that
What's
time?
that roster
Yeah.
look like? And then it's not. I don't care how they've played in the regular season. Because once playoff comes, it's completely different. It's a completely
I wouldn't even mind.
singular opponent for a best of 7, and it's let's see how they match up against that one team. So
And to hell with the President's
Yes.
Trophy. Like, I don't think you want that hanging
We don't
over
have a
this.
chance at that. For anybody that
course
thinks
they
that we're
do.
going to... No, we
What do you-
don't.
why shouldn't they?
No, we don't.
they have a chance.
Because we're the Oilers. They
But they have
are
the best
Oilers.
player, the
You're
best
saying,
players in the world.
Okay, the historically
Yeah, okay, but
We've never started fast. We've
Yeah,
never
there's
played
always that
82
losing streak in
games.
December, whatever, that's gonna hurt.
I just think this team they're better when they're back against the wall, us against the world. If they go out and they have a real great regular season, again, as you say,
they
not
go
traditionally,
110 points.
but I think that'll be a weight hanging over you going into the playoffs.
need
They
that
struggle with
diversity.
expectations. That's the one
Correct.
thing about this
That's
team.
what I'm looking
Last
for
Last
there.
year we looked at it. We went and going Stanley Cup favorites.
Yeah.
What happens?
Get in the
year?
dance.
Anytime this
Get in
team
the
has
dance.
ever gotten the real, finally, they deserve this expectation.
Yeah.
They don't, they falter a little.
And home ice, I get the importance of all this, and you kind of want a more of a favorable path in terms of opponents and everything. Sure. But I don't think this team should necessarily fear anybody. But I do feel that expectation, yes, the weight of expectation can sometimes get a little overbearing. Maybe not this group this year. Prove me wrong. But I
Arguably, if Game 7 was in Edmonton, we might have I keep doing
no,
that,
but
Tommy.
that's what I'm saying.
You know?
There's that aspect to it all too. The actual on ice perks that come along with doing well.
Yeah.
But I do think that they're better when they're pissy and they're kind of against the grain as in terms of going with it.
I agree, man. I
Just
don't
a-
think it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows for the first 10 to 20 games like everybody's expecting. I don't know.
Oh, Rod Z in the Nasty Chat's in 9 through October loading. So he thinks the Oilers are going to do really well to start.
You guys are a freaking joke. Season does not matter. What a freaking joke. Not so. Are you saying the season doesn't matter?
No, I think saying that us saying the season doesn't matter is a joke.
Where
Where the Oilers are, it doesn't largely. They should be in the playoffs. You play the regular season.
Everything
to get your
matters. We're
playoff
not saying
spot.
it doesn't, but yeah.
The Oilers are going to be in the playoffs.
I think 90% of this fan base who pulled them, they just want to get to the...
I 2 years ago, the Oilers were, 15-2-1 or whatever it was going into the playoffs.
Just get there.
And they didn't go win the cup that year. They were the hottest team going into the playoffs, and it doesn't translate necessarily. They almost lost to the Kings in that first series. They lost the very first game of that series.
Yeah.
The regular season and the playoffs are different hockey. It's the same as preseason and regular season. They're different hockey.
Yeah.
Playoff baseball, when you get from regular season to where every single pitch now just matters that a little bit more, it's different.
Yeah.
And so the Oilers are good enough that they're going to be in the playoffs. Let me see what this team looks like in the playoffs. And as you've already pointed out, Eric, what is this team roster?
What is the roster going to look
What
like?
moves are going to happen at the
Different.
deadline? When's Evander Kane come back? How healthy is he going to be? How is he going to be that Evander Kane wrist injury from a number of years ago? What does all that look like? We don't know that in October. We don't know that in November or December. That's going to all change come then. So I'm fine with it. There's going to be a stretch where the Oilers are going to lose 3 or 4 games, and people are going to panic. Oh my God, the world's falling, and it's not.
Yeah.
Because the Oilers are still going to be there in the playoffs.
As they should.
We will talk about the playoffs once that comes.
And I've argued too, what other teams out there right now, league-wide, not just in the conference, but have the story behind them and have the will to get it over the line. We talk about this in sports a lot. They've had, and we've seen it with the past champions, getting to the door, knocking on it, being denied, and then coming back and doing it.
To lose.
You could make a case maybe for Dallas in the West, Nashville we brought up, but again, how long does that take to gel? who else right now is kind of standing in their way in terms of, hey, this is ours, we deserve it, and that type of motivation driving, especially the two lead bulls on the team. That's going to be a big thing, and we can talk roster composition and everything such as that.
Dallas,
there will be dark days, there will be hot streaks, cold streaks, and everything. But I just think what they have right now propelling them and getting to it. I mean, that's going to be tough to knock off any team in the league, East or West. I don't know who's got the better story entering the season.
Yep.
They have to go out and write it, but I'm just saying that's in terms of years past. I think you could argue other teams did also have their own stories, grouping in with the Oilers. I think they stand alone at the top right now when it just comes to narratives.
And you got the two of the best players in hockey around that story, Rich, is
that have gotten so close to the buffet table, but just not been able to taste it yet. And that's the driver. And I think this Amazon series will shed a little light. All that stuff coming out here. But
excited about that? Anyone?
Yeah. I think in hockey too, behind the curtain is always, because we never really go back there too much. But
it'll be cool to see some behind the scenes stuff. I don't necessarily need to relive that pain as a fan.
That's fair. I will say I think Connor's mentioned it. I know Ellie Friedman mentioned it. A lot of teams they didn't get the final veto to cut things out.
Oh, is that right? Eh?
So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be in there that the teams maybe would have wanted to take out, but Amazon got a lot of control over this, which is what you want out of these series. You don't want teams going, we'll take that out, because they're going to take out all the good stuff. So I think this series that there should be a lot of fun stuff. And has anyone heard about the Vince McMahon doc?
Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic.
Yeah, but even that too is like, I heard too, there's a lot of pretty doctored. I guess the book, if you really want to tell all, nobody will ever know what Vince.
It's hard because they, I mean, his current. There's still cases and things ongoing too, right? So they have to be careful about what they talk about to a certain extent. But like Vince came out after the rough cuts and said, I don't necessarily love and agree with some of the things that have been included in that documentary. That said, I did hear it was all. But that's
covering his ass by saying, "Hey, this is they've sued me here. Can't get any worse than this."
Yeah, exactly what I was. Going to say. Nailed it, Eric. For sure.
And Vince, I mean, he
knows what he's doing, man. He knows what he's doing.
We're trying to get the guy that leads the circus and trying to get it. No, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So it's. I haven't watched it in full yet. 6 episodes, I think it is, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Ty Jordan, friend from Calgary, he was texting me a couple days ago about how great it was.
It's something. I'd give it a watch, but I'm not. I'll take it with a
grain of salt.
A fine tooth comb.
Spency 5 cents, he's saying watch the first episode of it. Been pretty good so far. Vince is a slime ball, 100%. I will say I don't think I needed that doc to tell me that part.
No, but you watch it with that in mind, and you kind of go, okay, yeah, it's. Like
there's promoters and politicians.
Well, there's an old promo of him getting beat up, and it's like Vince McMahon, and he narrated the thing like back in the day, when it was all kind of smoke and mirrors type of thing.
Yeah, of course.
But he's the ring master, baby.
Do you remember when he was behind the mic?
It was the best.
When he was ringside and
was Jesse Ventura, man.
Is that who he was with? I don't remember that part.
Him and the King did a calling show too. Jerry the King Lawler, they do like a call-in. They did lots of things, but I mean, there's lots of little promos and props.
What was that called? Saturday Night something or I mean, Jesse Ventura and Vince were maybe I don't know. Bobby the Brain was really good as well, but just because Jesse Ventura legitimately did not like Vince. So even on commentary, he would take every shot.
Natural,
right?
But even Vince knows these things, and that's what he knows gets the juice. That's the. I went down an Attitude Era rabbit hole the other night on YouTube. Yeah. That was the best. The signs, the pyro, the heavy metal.
Oh yeah.
I missed that
Best
time.
wrestling, man.
You waited for the weekend to be done. Monday night. Holy hell.
What was it? 6? I'm trying to remember.
7 or 8, I think, in my my land sometimes, depending on the time.
I remember like sometimes it would start right after like a sports center. I'd watch Rod Smith do a sports center, and then it would go into the whole intro, and it was 2 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, Raw's War and then the War Zone,
but it would bleed.
Yeah.
It would bleed always like 9/10, 9/11 or something. Yeah. And it was like must watch.
And always end on a real cliff, like
yes.
Oh my God!
It was the soap opera for sports and stuff. Like Young and the Restless ends with that cliffhanger.
That's why I'm a big Coronation Street fan today.
Gotta tune in next week.
You gotta watch. what happened here? You know, when you saw that WWF or E logo pop on, you're like, oh my God, it's going to end.
I know.
Like,
You're like,
it's
no.
not over. You're like, no, you can't end. And then it ends. You're like, nah, next Monday it has to come. But I think they're all on the network.
Yeah.
I think you go back and watch all the episodes.
I'm thinking of actually trying to, like, I'm going to watch one every Monday. Start at, like, the beginning of the era.
Just relive it.
Relive it for a few years.
Why not? You know, and live in your own little bubble.
Where would you end?
I don't know. Like,
Seems
it's
to me,
Well, probably,
you have to do the
probably when
pay-per-views.
Shane McMahon shows up on WCW.
Is that the ending? That would be the
and
ending.
said,
Like-
I was the McMahon that bought
Maybe that is
I think you
Yeah.
got to finish that.
Oh, you
I
gotta
think
finish
you
the
got to
Shane
go
O'Mac-
to
yeah.
the Survivor Series when WWE beats WCW
Okay.
and Kurt Angle and Vince McMahon do it.
Good question, though. When does it
That's
kind
to
of...
me where it ends.
Okay. I can get on that. Yeah.
I don't recall when I kind of jumped off officially, but
That's when Stone.
that's a
Well, I
good
went
timeline.
longer.
Yeah.
When did I kind of? I jumped off after the Benoit stuff.
Yes.
That was kind of my
Yeah.
exit.
Whoa.
I took a break
It
with
was
Benoit. Yeah.
it was a tough one
Yep.
at that point.
100%.
But like that was when I didn't like Stone Cold. Was that whole WCW? WWE, because I was WWE and whatever, and Stone Cold turned.
He
on
went heel,
WWE.
yeah.
He went heel, and it's like, oh my God, Stone Cold going. And I was young enough that I believe
Bit just enough. Yeah.
Well, I believe that WCW.
You bought it all.
I didn't know that Vince bought it. Like, and
Oh, yeah.
I thought like his family. There's a chance WWE's going to lose here.
Yeah.
And looking back, no, this was all like, this makes sense. It was all a ploy.
Yeah.
Oh, but okay, how lucky were we when there was WCW and WWE at the same time, though?
I love Nitro.
WCW.
The Nitro girls, the whole bit.
All of it. When they did the Summer Bash, and they'd have like the sand everywhere.
Bash at
and
the
all
Beach.
that.
Bash at the
Bash
Beach.
at the Beach. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It
That was when
Ric
NWO.
Flair coming in a helicopter.
That was the NWO, right? The was it Bash at the Beach when
That might have
Nash
been
and,
the
and
event
Hall?
when Hogan turned.
Yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah.
They almost got murdered on the way out of the arena.
God.
Like full beers thrown at them. Hulk said he's never been more scared for his life.
NWO was man, oh man.
See,
It's the best storyline in the history of wrestling outside of what's going on right now with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline.
Okay,
Really?
Which story was the best before the
NWO.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
just that whole everything around them.
Yeah. Hall and Nash going to WCW, becoming these, the new world. Who are they bringing? Who's it gonna be? And it actually being Hulk Hogan to go heel for the first time in his career was.
What's going on with Roman Reigns?
Well, the whole Bloodline storyline in the WWE right now is like anybody that's a relative of The Rock, because the whole Anoa'i family, there's like 25 of them that are in wrestling right now, and Triple H has kind of slowly been picking them all out of independence and bringing them all into the WWE.
Really?
And so Roman Reigns' bloodline lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and Roman went and took a break. But in the meantime, Jimmy and Jay's younger brother, Solo Sikoa, has come up with the new bloodline. And so they brought in Tama Tonga and some of these other other Samoans into the WWE. And so the new bloodline has become running roughshod and running rampant across the WWE. So now Roman is back and teaming with Cody Rhodes to take on the new bloodline.
But like in terms of like pop culture, it's not getting that same.
no.
It never will.
No.
It's the best storyline in wrestling, but it does not give the same pop as
The sold out arenas
Monday
and
Night
all that. Like you're never going back there.
I mean, wrestling
with
is
this
as
type of-
popular now as it's ever been.
Okay. But it just to kind of
Ratings-wise.
cross those lines and kind of bleed into the everyday.
How can you repeat that? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't redo that.
Like,
It'd be
you can't
interesting
do
if you could, though.
Well,
There might be a
chair
way. You never
shots
know.
anymore, right?
They do, just not directly into the top of the head or the face.
So like, there's those changes that I think.
Yeah.
You have to get permission there's a list of moves. Like you have to get permission to do a pile driver. You've got to get permission ahead of time to do
Do they still do the Hell in the Cell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the next pay-per-view, actually. Yeah. PLE. Sorry.
PLE.
PLE?
Premium live event.
Why not pay-per-views anymore?
It's all on the network.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. You don't have to dial a 1-900 number and get it anywhere.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. Those are great commercials.
Did
for
anyone
pay-per-view.
see Jake Paul?
What did
The
he do?
photo of Jake Paul or the
Did he
video
make
of
a
Jake
Lunchable?
Paul?
No.
No, Jake Paul was doing like a bench press. Looks like he's pregnant.
Oh, no.
Well, because it's a heavyweight fight, so he's been putting on the pounds.
Too many of those drinks.
But it's a complete
got steroid
gut.
belly.
Is that
What
I think
steroids
it's
do
steroids.
that? A little
He's
bit of
like
a...
260 pounds all of a
like
sudden.
it's one of those things that
Steroids does that.
you look at this and you go, I'm even more comfortable in thinking that Mike Tyson is going to destroy this guy.
Oh, that's AI.
that guy.
There's no way. That can't be real, dude.
Look at that.
Wow, that's swollen.
Right?
No.
I showed you 2 different videos. Here's him on the couch eating. Just search Jake Paul online and look up the recent photos because he's bulking up for the heavyweight.
He's got a KFC bucket in his hand. There's no way that's not
When's
a
he
staged
due?
picture with.
Right?
He looks like he's pregnant.
That's the thing.
There's no
It's a
way.
heavyweight
That's
fight.
not even fat. That looks like there's a being
like
inside.
He needs to get up to the weight for this fight, so he's just been eating whatever.
Bulking is that the term?
I don't think he's bulking.
I
though.
think he's like
I
40
think he's-
pounds over the
Carbo
heavyweight.
loading. That's insane.
Swallowed a human.
Yeah. Maybe he
It looks like he's 9 months.
he ate a baby gazelle whole.
Due date was 2 weeks ago, and we're waiting for him to pop.
Jake Paul stomach gate. I don't know.
Well, he's got us talking. Like in today's age, it's fake and it's all
Well, if
he's-
it wasn't for that, I would have completely forgot that Tyson and Paul are still fighting.
See, so he's got
Which I have a bet with. Oh, YouTube Trev says it's a bodysuit.
There you
It's
go.
a fake prosthetic, man. Okay, so I was completely gone on that one.
Yeah, see, but that's how they get you. The AI.
Real.
So is that just to get the extra weight?
It's so that we're talking about him.
Yeah.
No, he's already like 40 pounds over the heavyweight. He's like 260 pounds right now. What's the heavyweight?
I hope he wears the
Thanks, Jeff.
bodysuit for the fight.
Well, that's
Like you put your money, you're like, where your mother? Like, let's do it.
Who
I have
did
a bet on
Tyson
this
Fury
fight.
fight when he wore that warrior costume?
Yeah, why not?
it was Deontay Wilder.
Right, yeah, Wilder. And he's like, oh, I was too tired from my costume I had.
Yeah, you're
Until he
right.
lost.
So
Yeah.
maybe Paul's just building in an excuse.
And it's tattooed, is it not? Is the bodysuit tattooed?
Oh, it was tatted.
Yeah, full
So,
tatted.
yeah.
Yeah, wear it. You paid enough for
It
it.
worked. I do have a bet going on with Warren Barris about that fight, though, because I don't believe it's still going to happen.
Your bet is not that somebody
It's
will
the-
win or lose, or that it'll never happen.
It just wasn't going to happen. I think once it got postponed last time, I was like, it's never going to actually happen. So I'm waiting for something to happen, but maybe it will happen, and I will be a sucker and I'll watch it. I don't even know when it's supposed to be.
I want it to happen just so that Tyson will knock his head off, but I think I'm kind of in the majority there.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Then probably will tune in.
November 15th.
That's the new date. That's not that far away.
Wait, November 15th.
That's Jake Paul's due date.
That's a Friday? Who does a fight on a Friday?
We went to see the fight at your place there, Matty. What day was that?
It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Fight
That's-
night Saturday.
What is this? Major League Baseball wild card game?
That's also Grey Cup weekend.
No. Well,
Yeah.
Canucks homestand. They're playing like
where you gonna be?
7 games in a row all week, all Grey Cup week, aren't they?
Yeah, they play a game on the Sunday during Grey Cup.
I don't. Come on. Let's get real here.
How anti-Canadian is that?
That's
Typical classic Canucks, eh? Yeah.
Oh, it's the same. When
Change your name.
2018 Grey Cup happened here in Edmonton. I remember the Oilers played the LA Kings that night in LA.
Yeah, in LA,
But the Oilers shouldn't play that day. To me, like
I know.
it's- Like, and I understand why you do it from the NHL from a business perspective. I'm
Sure.
not saying you shouldn't do this, but Super Bowl Sunday, teams only play morning or afternoon game, but then it's done.
You take a knee.
I think for the Canadian franchises, you could take a knee on Grey Cup Sunday.
Why not?
Like at least at the night. If you're not going to play matinee,
Just
it's our Super Bowl up here.
Exactly.
You know, and
100%.
the teams just don't care. I don't think they go to the NHL or the NHL
Canucks
care.
David and Jarstead will do.
They're arrogant.
They're fans.
You know, and the Elks lost that football game. You excited for Century Casino tonight? How was it yesterday?
Always great. Jay and Jocelyn have been trying to come out to every single game Monday and Thursday. Jay did not show up Monday because he was in the doghouse. Jocelyn was a little mad, so she left him at home. Jay returns on Thursday, wins the squareboard. From the doghouse to the penthouse for Jay. Fergie was there tying one on.
Tying one on.
He went grouse hunting earlier in the day, so he shows up in his rubbers, and he's feeling
waivers.
good. Yeah, he was there. He's at Kalmar. Then he came up to us. He was hitting all the spots.
Oh, Fergie.
Kalmar bar, and then he was at the casino there, had the prime rib supper, ate it in the restaurant like a good boy. Delicious.
I picture Fergie's probably pretty good with a rifle.
He said he got a new toy, so he was telling me about that.
Bow hunting?
But I don't know. I think he's got a gun. He wants to go boar hunting here shortly.
Has rifle hunting even started? I think they just
I have
bow hunting
no
still.
idea on the
I think it's
season what he's
still bow
doing.
hunting.
Maybe it was a water gun. I don't know. But he was out there and he was looking for grouse, and I don't think he was too successful. He wants to go do the boars soon.
Are you trying to tell me that he shot a grouse with a super soaker?
I cannot confirm nor deny anything from the hunting trip, as I was not on it. But he had a good day, and the casino was nice. Everybody has a few listeners as well whom I didn't get the names, but one guy was trying to get another guy to convert to be an AM Nasty. There's this one table, a couple of seniors, but they must have drank like 7 pints each.
Oh, yeah?
And the lady was wearing a silk leopard top, very done up nice, casino. And she'd go and order 2 pints from the bar each time and walk back to her table, set them down there. Her and her, I think, husband, who knows? I didn't see any rings, but they drink it back. But they must have had like 7 pints each. And that was only during a half of football. They weren't even there the whole game.
Wow.
Great sights. The harness racing was on. People were yelling and screaming. I know you've gotten into the racing a bit now, hey?
I love it.
We'll find you down at the
can
track.
watch me doing it tonight.
Slapping your
Ray
leg.
and Jay live from Centric Casino, 3 to 5. Green and Gold Kickoff Show, 5 o'clock from Centric Casino. And then we have our EST watch party. A bunch of people from EST will be there with Jay, myself, and Reed. So come join us. There'll be a wing eating contest that Jay is setting up with a couple of Elks tickets on the line. And then we'll have the post game. And you can watch the Elks play. You could watch Bears. Who do the Bears have?
Huskies in Saskatoon.
Huskies. Jay's going to have that on
Is
his
he going to rent that
laptop.
for 2 cents? Oh, they should
We've
put it up
got
on the...
We've got the...
Oh, you got
maybe
it.
we could connect it.
I think you could.
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
said
I
he'll
love
be
the
watching.
2 cents thing. They don't have TELUS, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, come join us and come watch the ponies. You don't have to bet on the ponies. Come watch the
Spoiler
ponies.
alert, I'm
It's
winning
a lot
that
of
wing
fun.
eating contest.
Best
Go
TV
for
rap
it.
in town.
Go for it. If you want those pair of tickets to the Oilers game on September 30th, which is Monday, text me, 780-218-9999. Who did the Oilers play on Monday?
Is that the trivia question?
That's the trivia question.
Oh, okay.
780-218-9999. You'll go into a draw. I'll connect with someone. We just heard Hernandez sing All Gas, No Break. So that's what Dash was laughing at. Text that, though, in 780-218-9999. I'll get in touch with someone after the show, and they'll get a pair of tickets. Thanks to Centric Casino to see the Edmonton Oilers on September 30th. Again, just tell me who the Oilers are playing. But then we got Elks, and we've got Bombers tonight. That brings us to Road Warriors, presented by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers, custom manufacturing of heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas equipment, highway transportation, trusted by the leaders in the heavy transport industry. Get on the road with peace of mind for your large loads. AccuSteel.ca as the Elks looking to be Road Warriors as they head to Winnipeg today. How are you feeling about your Riders this weekend?
My Riders,
Red Black.
the Riders. I think it's the Red Blacks team that's extremely beaten up.
Red Blacks!
The Red Blacks, the Ottawa Red Blacks. It's funny, storylines abound, right, in terms of Riders' defensive linemen injuring Ottawa quarterbacks throughout the years and how dirty the Rough Riders are and how this and that. Jeremiah Mazzoli starting, correct? His return to the scene of the crime. You got Miles Brown. I'm setting the over-under on how much they're going to replay either the Garrett Marino or Miles Brown injury. I'm going to set that at a 50.5 right now to how many times that's going to be replayed during the ball game. But a banged up
5-0.
5-0 because they're gonna talk about that all the time. Armstead, 200 yards last week. What a game. And almost combining the Hickson and Ouellette styles. Like, the guy can cut, he's powerful and all this. Playing against his old team, there's the storyline. Again, Ottawa beat up. Saskatchewan maybe coming into their own now.
I wonder, was like with Edmonton, did Saskatchewan just need that win to end this losing streak?
Well,
and now they're going to get back to winning some games.
And a little bit healthy, too, as I think Lanier might be coming back. I think they might get Brammer back on the offensive line. And the offensive line, too, to which it's played, the same grouping for 3 straight. Like, they needed to kind of get... Trevor Harris, I think, is back and maybe feeling it a bit more. But that running game, that true threat back there who's going to rip off at least 5 a carry is now seemingly there. We'll see. But does he keep his head? Because I know last game against the Stamps, too, they were trying to goad him into a few extracurricular activities, and it took some other teammates. So, I don't know. That's a fascinating game tomorrow afternoon.
It's a crazy weekend because I'm back to...
Just like last weekend.
I don't know what any team is anymore.
But everything can switch
I can
now
see
from one
Ottawa
weekend.
beating Saskatchewan because I don't believe in Ottawa anymore, and they're going to go. And anytime I don't believe in them, they go find a win.
Yeah.
Hamilton has been playing really well.
I'm
they're going to BC.
Loving the story.
BC coming off of a loss at home.
And Toronto went to BC and we said, oh, don't give them a chance going cross country and all that. BC didn't show up. BC has to kind of show up soon or, to kind of prove they're going to host a playoff game.
And then BC, I thought, well, they don't have a shot in Montreal because they have to go across the country and they go beat Montreal.
Yeah.
And then I sit there and I look at Montreal-Toronto and I don't know who Toronto is. I really don't. And who's Montreal these days?
But if Ottawa loses now in Regina, like Toronto could now look at, we've always talked Montreal-Ottawa that 1-2 in the East. Who's to say that it's all up for grabs?
Are the Elks affected by the long bus ride into Winnipeg? Sorry.
That's the joke. That's the.
So it's an overdone one.
It's the airport joke.
I did it.
They don't have an airport in Winnipeg.
This game worries me for the Elks.
It should. You needed the split at home if you're going to split.
You needed to
this.
win at home. Winnipeg's tough at Princess Autumn.
But you had them.
You had them.
Yep.
And
you let them look.
Yep.
I think Winnipeg brings a better performance tonight than they did last week.
Yeah.
And that's the worrisome for me. Winnipeg is turning into Winnipeg.
Sold out. It's going to be ruckus there.
Sold out?
Yep.
They're not yesteryear's.
No, they aren't.
No, but
they know how to do it now.
Their defense is legit.
Yeah,
Their
defense is legit. They also
Brady is a great running back, and he finally got his touchdowns.
Yes.
Brady has been fantastic.
And when they're behind the 8 ball, I think now they know just instinctively what to do.
And Zach does just what he needs to do to win on the football. The Bombers of this season are not a team that are going to impress you in a way that you're going to sit there and be like, this team, no one's going to stop them.
Yeah.
But they do just enough to win. Just enough to be like,
Caleros
we are
story,
better
right?
than you. That really is.
And making it to these Grey Cups, and albeit winning, half of them now?
Yes.
This
Won
could be
the
a
first
team,
two, lost the last.
Again, that's not as impressive and sexy on the eyes, but could get it done in a season where there's a lot of, I shouldn't say mediocrity, but a lot of evenness abound. So they know it's in the DNA. It's instinctive to them now to just go out there. The Ticats had them too. Before Labor Day, they really, and Zach Caleros led a minute drive down the field to win.
Awful that game.
But then he did that one drive. They got the ball, and I said, "This is what's going to happen," and it happened because that's what they are right now. And that's a dangerous thing.
They are who you think they are.
They are who they, and the Elks on the opposite end of it have found creative ways. Again, going back to the losing streak, 3 walk-offs. Mm-hmm. What could have been? Yeah. That's the margin.
Yeah.
But it's knowing how to
the story
win
of this
and lose.
Season our kicker. It's one of. It's got to be
It's
one
of. He's cost them a couple of games, and that was something that they addressed this offseason, thinking that they got better, and they didn't. In the end, it's still going to be the quarterbacking situation. That's going to be the story.
The biggest story, yeah.
Because, look, either if they're in the playoffs, it's probably because then MBT went out there tonight and played well, and he balled out.
There's no other way it gets done, I don't think.
The only other way it gets done is they lose today. They need Ottawa to beat Saskatchewan, and then it's Edmonton, Saskatchewan next week. Yeah. Edmonton wins that game. Edmonton's a point back, and then who's Saskatchewan got in the last couple of games? I think there's Calgary.
They got the Stamps in BC.
BC to end it, yeah.
Edmonton's got Calgary and Toronto.
Yeah.
Edmonton sweeps Saskatchewan, drops one of those. Boom, Edmonton's in the playoffs. But you're asking for a lot of help at that point.
Yeah.
It's completely out of your control at that point.
Yeah.
Your destiny. So it's there still to a degree.
And Hamilton too.
Just the most parity we've seen in a long time in the CFL.
Well, because the West is how it is too.
Calgary's the bad team.
Yes.
I still feel good saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it feels great hearing that.
But I think there isn't a team that is dominant right now. We're not seeing a team like the last few years of Winnipeg at the very top. And I think 1 through 8, anyone could beat anyone right now.
And you mentioned
this moment, right now.
The Elks and Riders both
100%.
get the Stamps too in those final 2. I'm not saying that the Stamps are going to necessarily that was a hard game last Friday too between the Riders and the Stampeders. I think the talent is spread rather evenly, and records. Somebody's got to lose. Somebody's got to obviously be the odd man out. But they could be one of those teams that you could be. Oh, it's in our control, and then you slip on a banana
It's like
peel.
we're talking with the White Sox with the Tigers, right?
Why not?
Yeah,
in the season it's been, you could totally see the Stamps
something to
still
play for.
factoring in somehow.
Yep.
And you get a chance to hurt your rivals.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That could be there.
Yep.
But no, like Hamilton has turned it on ever since Edmonton went there and destroyed them. Hamilton's a better football team, and
They
so
slap
it's
some respect into them. It's like,
Is
what's
Bo your MOP?
I think it's Brady.
Yeah.
My MOP actually is because of your brother.
Why? Because of
Milligan.
Oh, yeah.
He pointed out Milligan and looking at his
Special
numbers,
teams, too.
Oh, okay.
It's everything about him with the Riders D.
He's Velcro. He's on the ball.
I can take the special teams out of it.
Oh, fair enough.
And look
But
at
you
his
add that on
resume,
as well.
like interceptions,
Yeah.
tackles.
Yeah.
A year where I don't look at an offensive player and say, like, there is no QB.
Yeah.
Like, if Hamilton doesn't make the playoffs, he can't be your most outstanding player. I'm sorry.
If they don't make the playoffs, but stats-wise, since it's
If
an
he does,
outstanding, well, those are outstanding
and
numbers,
that's
and
where
you lead
Brady's
the...
going to get it.
Fair enough.
And I don't think Brady has been really good this year. He hasn't scored the touchdowns until last
And that's
week.
not outstanding.
But he's carried the Winnipeg offense this year. It's not enough for me to go, he's the best player in the CFL this year.
Most outstanding.
Where I feel like we can look at a defensive player for once and go,
Yes.
and when Lucas last week threw that one out there, I was really looking at his numbers and went, no, that's actually a guy that should get more
I've been
love
on a
for
deep
it.
dive.
It's outstanding.
Yeah.
But then you add the special team top. I think
that
that
can
gets
elevate
you
100%.
over the top.
So that's where, for me, that's who I would probably go with. I will say Brady wins it because he's the name. He's a Canadian. He'll be the Winnipeg nominee.
He held out a bit.
Anyone that comes from Winnipeg,
Got the bag, eh?
anyone that comes from Winnipeg is going to get that extra boost.
For
of,
sure, yeah.
They should win. They should win.
Who votes on MOP?
I don't know if it's the writers of the CFL or various media get. I think Dusty gets a vote.
I think it's
I
a mix, eh? A generous mix of...
Yeah, I've never gotten.
generous.
It's all the people that go to that hotel room at Grey Cup weekend, hey? They just vote
I've
in
been
there.
there, but I've never gotten the award ballot to vote.
Okay, well.
But I could go get that free booze at the FRC suite.
Darren Bombing took yours. He voted twice one year.
That's how Winnipeg does it.
Yeah.
They don't.
Damn bonfire sports.
Well, I'll just say this. The last time I checked, I don't know if it may have changed since, but the president and the vice president of Football Reporters of Canada both came from Winnipeg.
Right. Do you
Not
think Brady wins
exactly.
it just because he didn't last year? Kind of just.
I think he wins it because the defender's not going to win because
they just don't.
we don't. Yeah, exactly.
It's like the goalie winning the trophy.
It's you have to look at offensively. There was no quarterback that absolutely was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And Brady being Canadian, running back from Winnipeg, I think there's a lot of boxes checked. And I don't want to take
Canadian too.
And I don't want to take anything away
That
from his season. It's been a really good season. To me, though, it's not at a level of I would have to if there's a year we can give it to someone not offensive, I think this is finally a year we can look at it.
outstanding,
Yeah.
not value. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought he deserved it last year too. So
Although Chad Kelly was great.
Kelly
for
was
Toronto
good.
last
Yeah,
year.
still.
See, and then last year though, I could say Chad Kelly was maybe more of a more valuable player. As
Yes.
opposed to the most
Outstanding.
And that's what
outstanding
always
player.
is
Yeah,
the
that's
crick
what
in
it
this
comes down to.
conversation. Yeah,
And this
yeah.
year, I would say Brady probably is the most valuable player. He's carried the Bombers.
Value, yes, yeah.
But outstanding,
Right.
I don't think he is.
And that's why as a quarterback, when you're leading all the metrics,
Yeah.
team record aside and all that, but
Yep.
Thank you for sliding in late.
thank you for having me. It's always a
Lieutenant
blast.
Eric here.
I
Dash,
love being
thanks
in the
for
room.
coming in. Oilers Live, friend of EST. Matt Iwanyk, thanks to everyone for tuning into the EST Hangout here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Up next, it is the Lock Shop. At noon, it's the Oil Stream. We got EST Afternoons. Then we got Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne at 3 o'clock live from Century Casino. Green and Gold Kickoff Show, 5 o'clock at Century Casino. We will have the EST Watch Party, so come on out. Just off of Fort Road, Cheese and Jalapeno Smoky Game Day Special, as well as the Daily Special, are those quesadillas. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangout on this Friday. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I will talk with you on the Kickoff Show.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here, joining us today.